Had a little bit of money, so the Lord did me good. Got all kind of shit. Got the glow sticks. I got the gotcha bag. Got the Hawaiian punch. Man, everybody won't holler at Pop what you need. I got it. If I ain't got it, I can find it. You understand? I'm selling glow sticks. Glow sticks that go with the yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome to the Digibowl on Fox Kids with your host, Terry Bradshaw.
Look at me. I get to host the first Digibowl. The first. Super Bowls, they come and go. But the Digibowl, now that's exciting stuff. But can't do it alone, so luckily I have two authentic Digi-Destins, Izzy and Kari, helping me. First, let's check in with my sideline correspondent, Kari. Maybe she can tell us what in the heck a Digibowl is.
この惑星の子供たちと呼ばれる存在にはおはようございます超授業だリンやそう全身でぶつかっていかなくてはならないもしよかったら付き合って声が小さいただ教師としてあるまじきそういう分かったこの惑星の教育は加減が難しいでも君はいい教師になる缶コーヒーのボスレインボーマウンテン
With a bunch of cops like these. One's a kleptomaniac. One's a compulsively violent ventriloquist. One's addicted to danger. And their leader's a transplanted Cajun who makes up his own rules as he goes along. What do you do with a bunch of cops like these? Give them a psychiatrist and pray.
Everybody's different, I'll tell you something. Living be a problem to a man who don't run. Sleep without a mattress and a loaded gun. Back in the shadows, cottonmouth is lying. Deep in the city, lost men are dying. Look down in the water, sky's what you see. Life is kinda strange that way. Broken ain't a problem, ain't nothing near free. Practice nearly perfect, perfectly cracked naturally. Oh, Shelby. Over up the city where the light's supposed to shine. Everybody friendly, but they give you no time. Life ain't worth doing when you're holding the line. Half truck getting whiskey and muscadine wine. Back in the shadows, cottonmouth is lying. Deep in the city, lost men are dying. Look down in the water, sky is what you see. Life's just kinda strange that way. Broken ain't a problem, ain't nothing near free. Practice nearly perfect, perfectly cracked naturally. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
ボンバットファミリーと私たちのライブ放送へようこそ。私たちはあなたの視聴とリスニングの喜びのための素晴らしいショーを持っています。今あなたのホストスコッティ・ジェイロとジェリー・ケーブルに Stay Bombad を楽しんで覚えておいてください。
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
What is up, Bombad fam? It's your boy, the Cannon Junkie. Welcome. We are coming to you live, pre-recorded, on this lovely Thursday. when this is premiering. So welcome again. You're here. You've arrived on another Bombad Thursday, and we're so glad to have you here. We have some very special guests tonight. Look at that. These I don't know, like the what we came up with for our images, like our thumbnails for this, are just like absolutely off the charts. So good. I love this. I love this so much. Listen, we're here. Drew Struzan has done our thumbnails for us. And we're happy to talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark tonight with all of you. But first, you're on this YouTube channel. We do a couple of things on here that you might be interested in. For one, we do this weekly Star Wars experience called the Bombadcast live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. You know what? If you're nasty, I'll say it. I'll still say it. But y'all, we also, every Wednesday, most Wednesdays, Scotty, he blows the dust off of his Nintendo 64, and he plays one of the bibs and bobs for you, you know, kind of shows you the ropes, lets you know how to game, as it were. But yeah, Bombad Gaming, weekly video game streaming show. And guys, it's not scripted, it's Bombad. But also, you know, I should... Well, let's okay. Scotty's telling me what to say. Let's high five Paul right now. But also, listen, we have a Patreon. I don't know if you want to, like, Scotty, you want to come in and help me talk about Patreon? Okay, here we go. High five Paul, everyone. It's not scripted, it's Bombad. And listen.
Yo.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
I'm doing that one.
Does my camera look a little blurry?
I don't think so. Not too bad.
Not, anyway, okay.
No,
anyway,
I think you look fine.
This is
look,
great.
Patreon. We've got a bunch of people that support us there. Trevor, Richie Rasputin, Preston Dugas, Buck O'Brien, Alden Diaz, David, Kate Westbrook, Trey Mitchell, Wesley Ruich, Chase Hauser, Neil Lowry, Todd, Brian Finnessy, Michael, Brian, Jeff, Jared, Seth, Sean, Rick, Joe, Brandon Schrader, Andy, who's going to be a guest this evening, Will,
Andy's
and Scotty
here.
Holiday.
They're
This
here.
could be you. This could be you. So with all these patrons, obviously you help us fund this entire experience that is the Bombadcast.
Yeah,
Most
this is your
importantly,
fault.
for the rest of the year, we got to figure out who the hell is Jameson Murat. We're gonna figure this out by the end of the year.
Jameson Murat. Jameson Murat. I don't know. I feel like Jameson Murat. What did he write? He wrote that song "Your Body Is a Wonderland," right? That's Jameson Murat.
Yes, that is Jameson Murat.
Okay.
Oh man, that's fantastic. No, super excited tonight. Obviously, we were joined by some very special guests, and for those that don't know, the month of June, we're going to be celebrating queer voices in our fandom, but we're also going to be celebrating Indiana Jones because we did a thing called we called it the Bombad Build-Up when we first started our podcast.
Oh,
we built up way a long time ago.
Kidding.
And then we built up to the Rise of Skywalker, but here we are. We're doing the Indiana Jones countdown because we got a lot of things. I got a lot of wonderful guests coming up soon, the next couple of weeks as well. But that being said, let's bring in our current guest. We are joined this evening by a longtime friend of the show. We'll bring them in. The one, the only, Andy.
Wait, who invited you here?
There we go.
Let's
Nathan
talk about
Drake.
Uncharted. Yeah.
Oh, I meant to send you a message. It's Indy, not Uncharted. Sorry, but the same basic. No, sorry.
The old guy? We're talking about the old guy.
Yeah,
We're talking about
the
Uncharted?
really old one that wears the fedora. Yeah,
This old guy. No,
yeah,
sorry.
this one. Oh, not that.
We're talking
No,
about
that
the
one.
Tom Holland movie? We're
For
talking
God's
about...
sake.
Nope, not the Tom Holland movie. I'm
Not Tom
sorry.
Holland, sorry.
I know. The PlayStation
Or
exclusive.
the Nathan Fillion concept footage. Was that a thing?
The fan film? The Nathan Fillion fan
Yeah,
film
was that
is quite good.
It is good. It is good.
I don't know about this, but I'll ask you about this later. I have to ask you about that later.
Okay.
Andy,
All right.
you're like top contender for Jared now in terms of how many appearances you've had.
Most appearances on the podcast. Yes.
It's impressive.
I'm also your biggest guest. I know you said your biggest guest was Seth Green, but he's 5'4" and I'm 6'2". So
in terms of height, okay.
Yeah. Yes. I'm bigger than him. I can get up to 6'8" in heels, baby, too.
I don't know.
You know,
I needed to. like easily.
Our other guest
Down.
this evening is a tall dude as well. I've had the privilege to hang out with him in person at Mosh Isley and then at one of the Marriott Hotel.
I believe that I saw Brandon also at Star Wars Night at Galaxy's Edge about a year ago or something. And yes,
let's bring Brandon in here.
Let's bring him in.
Singing Dave. Singing Dave.
Welcome, Brandon.
Hello, thank you. I'm also 6'2", so
oh man,
we did it. Yeah, so we could both beat up Seth Green. It could be
how tall of heels can you walk in?
I've not tried. I've only done like 2-inch heels, so I haven't been able to get to 6'8".
Okay,
6'4". Sure.
Hang out with me, honey. We'll get you in taller ones.
Hey, next in Marriott bar, next celebration
right.
or something. Just bring them there, and I'll wear them around.
Collectively, y'all are 12'4". So that's pretty
y'all.
cool.
Both of y'all could carry me in a Bjorn. Okay,
if we got on each other's shoulders, Seth Green wouldn't stand a chance.
That would be pretty Indiana Jones. I'm not gonna lie. That would be pretty.
It wouldn't be. It would be too fungible for Seth Green. He would.
Fungible. Brian, I'm glad to have you here. It's been a minute since you've been on Bombadcast. This is really exciting.
Yeah, thanks for having me to talk about a movie that I've never seen. So
no, never heard of it.
No, bad movie.
Yeah, a new little flick. Yeah, absolutely.
A classic Brandon there, just not being aware of anything related. I love it. Now, the shirt and everything. He hates these set of movies. I'm surprised we even got
definitely didn't design this shirt. Yeah, I hate.
Why do we even ask Brandon on the show? That's why.
Oh, how exhausting! No, y'all tonight Raiders. Oh my god! Like I think part of this and why I'm so excited is because I haven't really watched these movies from a very analytical point of view. And nothing against these movies, because they are kind of a romp. I watched them growing up, and I want to know how y'all experienced them. Did y'all watch them like on VHS tapes when y'all were little?
Oh, you kidding me?
Yeah.
My family owned each. Yeah. This was one of the trilogies my family owned. Like back in the day, back when it was a trilogy in the 90s and everything. I'm not doing one of those like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull things.
How old were you?
When I first saw it?
Yeah.
I was pretty little. I remember being very scared, but also intrigued because there's a lot of corpses in Indiana Jones, especially this movie. There's a lot of corpses in this movie.
There is.
The mummies used to scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, the screams and everything. That freaked me out yesterday when I was watching it. Andy, what about you?
So, I was not allowed to see the end of Raiders. My dad would stop it once, like, Indy got on the submarine.
Why?
And then he would be like, and he rescued Mary in the end. And then I wasn't allowed to watch Temple of Doom at all. And
because he reaches into a sheet cake?
I was allowed to watch all of Last Crusade, but my dad would make me close my eyes when they drank from the wrong cup. And he'd like watch that my eyes were closed. And then when that scene was over, he'd like let me see the end of the movie.
Interesting.
I tricked my mom into letting me see Temple of Doom. I tricked her into renting it from the library. And she was like, I don't think you're allowed to watch this movie. And I was like, no, I've seen it before. And look, it's PG.
About history.
I'm allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
And so like I smuggled it downstairs and I put it on and I like cried my eyes out. And then my mom like freaked out at my dad and was like, you said Andy could watch this movie and it traumatized them. And my dad was like, I didn't say Andy could watch that movie. Why would you rent Temple of Doom and show it to Andy? So now they're like fighting with each other and I'm like crying. And then I got in trouble.
No, wait, man. Andy, I know you grew up in a pretty Christian environment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so was it the fact that they were depicting God in this way, or was it just because
I think it was just the horror element. Like my parents knew I was too little to handle it.
Yeah.
And like my parents, like we can say a lot of different stuff about my parents, but they were pretty good about allowing me to see media that I was interested in.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So like I was allowed to watch Pokemon, and I was allowed to read the Harry Potter books, which like a lot of my friends were not allowed to watch Pokemon or read the Harry Potter books because of evolution and witchcraft.
Yeah.
See, I
that was before Rowling was garbage, but like back in the 90s.
Yeah.
See, we both grew up very religious, actually, and everything. It's interesting because my mom didn't even. The only thing I remember my mom covering my eyes for was in Jurassic Park when Gennaro gets eaten off the toilet. That's the only thing that my mother covered my eyes for.
When you're little, that's like
but at the same time, like I remember talking to my grandma to let me watch. This is how I know I'm a depraved individual. I talked my grandma to let me watch it like a couple years later on VHS, and I said, "Mom usually makes me cover my eyes at this part, but I think I'm old enough." She goes, "Okay."
I had no idea.
Who grew up the Great Depression, didn't know anything about dinosaurs eating people in toilets. Didn't care. But it's interesting, like how, because like my parents didn't really, they sheltered me, but not from everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like I remember the pop culture staples being there, kind of a thing. It's just an interesting, juxtaposition how different people who were raised religious, level you were what level of pop culture you were allowed to watch and stuff like that. So,
Brandon, what about you?
No, it's funny. I was just like, because I was like, oh, is Andy talking about my parents? Like, is this the same? Because here's how I found out about Indiana Jones, which was my first Star Wars Insider magazine. Was Star Wars Insider. I looked it up during this. Star Wars Insider 54. Star Wars Insider 54, which premiered the mullet of Ewan McGregor for Attack of the Clones. On the cover,
I remember that issue.
Here's Ewan's new haircut, and everyone's like, And then it was a flip magazine, and you would rotate it, you would turn it over.
Oh, I love it.
And it was 20th anniversary Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I was reading this magazine, and I was like, what is Raiders of the Lost Ark? This sounds pretty cool. And so we rented it. We rented Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we also got in trouble because it's PG, and my parents were like, that's fine. I couldn't watch PG-13 movies. I think I was 10, probably. But
Temple of Doom invented PG-13 movies.
Yeah.
So
whoa,
it makes sense.
I did not know that.
Marion says, when they leave the bar, she's like, of course I'm coming with you. I'm your goddamn partner. And my mom's like, all right, turn it off. We're done. And that was it. That was the first time I saw Raiders. We turned it off then. And then like she left the house a couple days later during the Blockbuster rental, and we
heck yeah.
I finished it. But then I again talking about
goddamn
parents
right
fighting.
you did.
Parents fighting.
Sorry.
Because then that 2003 was the DVD release of Indiana Jones trilogy. Great DVD release.
Yeah.
And so then we had seen Raiders already. That was a year or two later. And I was like, great, we can watch Raiders. And I got it for Christmas. I got the Indiana Jones box set for Christmas. And I was like, we've seen Raiders. Let's watch Temple of Doom. So Christmas night, we put on Temple of Doom. We get through the opening scene.
Great Christmas movie.
And then my mom is like, wait, this is PG-13. And my dad's like, this is PG-13. And I was, again, like 11, right, or 10. And they were like, you can't watch this. And then everyone started yelling at me. And then I didn't see Temple of Doom for another, like, year. So that's
so funny.
It's, but yeah, religious household also could not watch Harry Potter or play Pokemon. But now look,
I was allowed to. Despite being a PK, I was allowed to.
Well, so my mom used to go to the mall, as all moms do. And so she would drop me off at, I think it was Waterstones. Is that what it's called? Walden Books. Walden Books.
Books. I love
and so I read the first 3 Harry Potter books again. I was like 9 years old. I just like sped read them, like over like 10 different mall sessions, you know? And then finally, like I think it was like the 5th one came out, and she's like, you can't read these. I'm like, I already have read these. And then they were fine.
Look, I found the actual magazine right here. So
Yeah,
is
there it
this
is.
one?
I had this one.
The
Yeah,
flip
I
side.
had this one.
The flip side.
Yes,
Look at that.
I had this one for years. For years, I had this.
There's
one.
some good
It
stuff in there. There's some good
It
stuff.
disintegrated. It disintegrated very quickly, but
Look at that picture of George at the very top left. He's doing something. He's like, I wish we could like
He's zoom on this.
I love George. No, it's so funny. Like
we should really, put any in the back.
With this movie, I know like the faded lore of the movie was that, Steven and George were on vacation when Star Wars premiered. Now, Brandon, I know you know this like probably like it's your biblical experience, but like if you want to, oh my God,
I didn't have time to do the makeup, and my eyebrows are bugging me. It's hot. The wig's coming off.
Hey, it's all right.
And
Listen, I wish I could.
Tunisia.
Well, funny enough, George and Steven were on the beach building a sandcastle, and I took a photo of it. I wish I had it on me, but it's a photo that was in the those kids books that you could pick up. It's like, who is George Lucas, or who is J.R.R. Tolkien? Those books, they had the big heads.
Who is J.R.R. Tolkien?
Y'all don't know these? Oh my god!
I don't know who J.R.R. Tolkien is.
Are these a new addition to the Scholastic Book Fair? Because they were not. I would have bought the shit out
guy,
of those.
right?
Oh my god!
Hold on. You wrote Harry Potter. He hates. Yeah,
Listen, we all grew up Christian, Scotty. We don't know. We don't know any of this.
The turf who wrote Harry Potter. Yeah, I remember that now.
No, look.
That's the one. That's the real reason we weren't allowed
books,
to read Harry
Y'all
Potter.
don't have these books in your life?
No.
I've seen that. I've seen that
them on eBay.
I've seen that. I've not read it.
I've seen them on eBay.
It looks like the People versus George Lucas. So
why is he a bobblehead?
Now hold on, they do all their covers this way, but there's a depiction of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg on the beach in this one, and they just look so bored and uninterested building a sandcastle. But the lore behind it is like,
do they have giant heads in that picture too?
No, they don't. They look regular.
An actual picture.
I might have to find it.
Tweet this out. Yeah,
I'll find it. I know I took a picture on my photo album. But that being said, the story is, they're waiting for Star Wars to fail. They didn't want to be in town for it when it happened. And I believe, wasn't it Steven that was like, I want to make a James Bond movie, right?
So
I don't remember
I
know
yes.
you know. I know.
Yes.
You know.
Do you want me to tell you? I can tell you.
Just let Brandon say it, please. Please, Brandon.
Tell me, Brandon.
Okay. So George Lucas had already been kicking around an idea called Indiana Smith. Sorry, I have my eyes closed so I can
Indiana Smith. We're just watching.
Indiana Smith, okay? And he was just like he had done sci-fi serials for Star Wars, he wanted to do the adventure Tarzan serials, for adventure. And so that was the idea. I guess probably now he'd be like, oh yeah, I had like 4 ideas in my head or whatever, like of the 4 movies. But he had the general idea of wanting to do that. And then when they were on the beach in Maui, they were like, Steven Spielberg was like, I think I would love to do a James Bond movie. And he was like, I'll do you one better. We could just do our own James Bond. And then they're like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And that was it.
That was it.
I do love Smith to Jones. Like, I do find that fascinating that there's another timeline where the 4 of us are talking about Indiana Smith.
Indiana Smith.
Okay, I found the picture.
Montana Smith.
Hold on. I'm going to put it on the screen right now.
Oh, no. Here we go.
I'm going to get it pulled up. But no, I've always liked how that story, came to be, obviously, with the success of, Star Wars. It allowed them to both work together and make this project. And like, I don't know how they balance, or I guess I don't know how George balanced working on Indiana Jones on top of, working on Empire and working on Return of the Jedi. I know he really had a hand in the writing process, not as much as the directing process, but he wrote all of these movies as well. Like, here's the picture, by the way. Isn't this amazing? Just look.
That looks like me and you looking at a sandcastle.
I'm going to try to find that.
You two should cosplay this picture.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Just Pope standing there. Oh man. Yeah, no, I always thought it was fascinating that they could work together on a project like this. And like, at the time you think about, oh sure, they're friends, they can do these kind of things. But like, if we think about it retrospectively now, like, these are 2 of the most important filmmakers for pop culture. And like, they collaborated, it's like,
yeah,
it's unbelievable. I love the fact that they're actual friends. I love the fact that they grew up together, essentially, with him having like a competitive relationship, but like for them to work together finally was an incredible thing to me. I don't know. It's like the most iconic duo, I guess you could say, in terms of filmmakers. It blows my mind. It really does.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of like collaboration between Titans like that anymore. And I guess it helps that like George was only just blowing up. Like American Graffiti was good and well received, which allowed him to make Star Wars. But like the seeds of Indiana Jones were planted before A New Hope took off.
Yeah.
So that probably helps. But I really can't think of another like monumental real collaboration. Like I know
Yeah.
Spielberg has produced Abrams movies, but he's not actually showing up to set and helping.
Yeah.
He's not writing, like it's not a real collab
Mm-hmm.
like this was.
Then you tag Lawrence Kasdan and write the script. You're just like, it's how can you fail? You know what I mean? And like, I know we were all messaging the other day about the character introductions of each person and like how iconic all those moments were. And I'm watching it now, with the lens of it being a movie that we're going to end up kind of, analyzing it much deeper. But like, I watched Raiders obviously yesterday, and I'm sitting there the entire time just like, man, they nailed it. They waited to show his face like at the perfect time after the perfect reveal. I don't know. I think it's absolutely fantastic on how they paced this entire movie.
It's like there's not an inch of wasted space either. Like on the watching it the other day, it goes by a lot quicker than you remember. I feel like,
yes,
like it. I don't know. I feel like I remember it being a lot longer. I'm not saying it was short, but like I should remember like it steps on the gas, especially after they find the Well of Souls. I mean, it's just like boom, 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 boom from there on out. You know what I mean?
God,
like
good.
it's pretty. So good.
I just put something in the chat.
I see it right
treat,
now.
as a treat, as a special treat, because we're talking about the Lucas, we're talking about the Spielberg, we're talking about the Kasdan. There is,
I love this art.
There is, the Steranko art is incredible. Yes,
he
did all the Nick Fury Marvel comics.
You can tell
in the 70s. But I just put it in the chat, and I don't. You can maybe put it on your side.
Oh yeah, I got to pull it up.
It is the transcription of the story conference, which goes over a few days early in 1978 between Lucas, Kasdan, and Spielberg. And I cannot believe that they kept this. You know what I mean? Like this could have been lost to time, but it was on a bunch of tapes. Some of it's a little problematic if you read it a little bit. But it is fantastic. It starts with Indiana Smith. Like they start with Indiana Smith, and then by the end of it, they get to what we know as Raiders of the Lost Ark. They go from nothing.
To read this during work.
It is. I probably read it once a year just to like fill the creative well, because it really is like, again, like we were talking about, three like geniuses at the pinnacle of their career, just like working in the same room together for multiple days.
Yeah, see, this is the same level, I guess, to me as the original Empire script, and I don't know how legit that one is by Lee Brackett. I've read it like 5 times. It's just like, oh, this is so cool, man. And like, yes, it is. There is a James Bond aspect, but what I like most about Indiana Jones is he's still like a regular person in the sense of like he can get hurt, he can be goofy,
Yeah, he's not invincible. He
invincible.
falls down, he punches a guy and goes, "Ow!"
Yes,
yeah, like little things like that.
Before we get too far, actually, can we address just real quick the problematic elephant in the room?
Sure.
Absolutely.
All of these movies, all 4 of these movies have problematic stuff in them. And it does not make you a bad person to love these movies. I know that like there's a real like kind of puritanical approach to media consumption that's like really hot on like Tumblr and Twitter right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can love these movies and recognize that they're products of their time and they have elements that aged really bad. And there was even stuff in them that back in the 80s wasn't okay, but like you can still love these movies and they can still mean something to you. And I also think to some degree, certain aspects of indie get a little blown out of proportion in the same way that like I'll see people on X-Men Twitter be like, every single one of the X-Men are child abusers. Or they'll say like on Batman Twitter, like Batman is problematic because he beats up poor people who are having mental health crises. And it's like, yes, sometimes a fascist writes Batman and they write like a really fascist Batman. Batman's been around for like 90 years now and has had countless writers and artists, and there's countless different versions of him. And in some Batman universe, like sometimes Batman is written really badly and he's like a monster. Sure. Like Indy does do a colonialism at the start of this movie. He does. He's stealing an artifact from some indigenous people, and like that's not great. Like Indy's kind of a dirtbag, a little bit, and like that's not cool. Like Brody is like, oh yeah, we'll pay you whatever, like no questions asked, and it's like, Marcus Brody, you should be asking questions about where this like bounty hunter got these artifacts from.
Right.
Like,
what are you doing to get these things for my college?
That's not great.
Yeah,
but like, I don't think he really does a colonialism the rest of the franchise. Like, I don't like that. He's stealing the Ark to get it from the Nazis.
Yeah,
and then like the second movie, he's stealing the stones to give back to the people who they were stolen from.
Right.
And then the third movie, he's going after the Grail, which like is like arguably a Christian artifact, and he's like an atheist, but like raised Christian, and like the Nazis want it again, and Indy doesn't even want to take it from the temple. He's like, we should leave it here. So like, I have not watched Crystal Skull in a while. I don't really remember how pro or
they're returning. They are returning the Crystal Skull to October.
Yeah, because like there's a really popular post that's like the new Indy movie should be about Short Round returning artifacts that Jones like stole from indigenous people. I'm like,
nothing
he really hasn't.
No MacGuffins have ended up in an actual, except for the Ark did end up
the
in
Cross
Area
of Coronado,
51.
but like that's also from like a dirtbag. That's from like the Kingpin from the Marvel. Like he's robbing the Kingpin. Like that's fun.
He seems to learn over the franchise as well. Like he starts out kind of like, I'm gonna take this thing. Maybe he was gonna put it in a museum, which is still very colonial, right? That's still very dirtbaggy.
Yeah.
But the other guy was just gonna like really actually steal it for like.
I think like Lucas and Spielberg probably learned. Like the first movie, I think they probably were like, oh, that wasn't like. The opening like maybe didn't go over super hot, so like let's examine ourselves. And then the next movie, he's like trying to return artifacts to the people that they were stolen from. So like, I do think it gets a little blown out of proportion, like other things in pop culture, by people who don't know how to have fun. I do think there's problematic elements in these movies which should be like talked about and dissected, but I think you can still love Indy and love Uncharted and love Tomb Raider.
We romanticize like pirates and stuff like that, right? Like, I mean, come on, like it's
like you're not a bad person for enjoying this stuff. Like, just examine it with a critical lens, but also have fun with it. So, like, we talked about that out of the way. Good luck covering Temple of Doom, because that's gonna be.
Well, rough. I was gonna say Temple of Doom. Honestly, is the one that me and Scotty are probably gonna go the most ham on that subject.
That's gonna be tricky to navigate.
There's
that
feast sequence. Like that, where they have the feast with the chilled monkey brains, still makes I shudder every time. Like it makes me so uncomfortable.
I was wondering. I was wondering on Disney Plus if there was any pre-warning at the very beginning.
There should
because
be.
I was wondering if it would say because I know like
PG. Raiders says PG for tobacco depictions.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm not sure.
Brandon, how do you feel about all of that? Because I always like, I don't know, we've had really big ethical discussions on Bombadcast about, anything that's maybe not seen in the right light anymore, or something that, meant one thing in the 80s but means something very different now. How do you feel about it?
No, I think it's very interesting observing media, especially pre-1990, let's say, which is kind of getting erased now, right? Like even with the HBO Max, right? It's all gone.
Yes.
Everything is gone. No one can actually consume anything. So when you do, you don't have any contextual lens of surrounding it. And as you said, Andy, like some of it doesn't have an excuse. You're like, you shouldn't have to have done that. You didn't have to do that. And even like if you read that story treatment, some of it you're like, could have maybe phrased that a little bit differently. And I think it's just you have to take everything as a piece of art, and you have to be able to separate both the art from the artist, but also separate like maybe that should not have been portrayed this way in a mainstream movie for a very impressionable audience. With something of ill intent. I don't know. It's a very difficult line, a very tight rope to walk, and I love Temple of Doom, but like it's some of it's not great. Although I will say Temple of Doom, he is returning Sankara stones, right? He does not want to put those in a museum. He's trying to help out an indigenous tribe, which is great for him. But yeah, it's just a weird.
So my thing too is what is, and you might be the one that actually knows this, Brandon. I don't know if anyone else on the screen knows this. What is the fertility idol? Like, what was the whole point of it was obviously an introduction to the character, but like it never comes back in later to play, right? Or am I just assuming that
Right.
incorrectly?
Fertility idol, it is a one and done, again, in the style of 30s serials.
Yeah.
It is, if you type in fertility idols, maybe do a safe search on, but those exist. Those exist in, similar to how Crystal Skulls exist, similar, it is something in like South America. Archaeological digs have uncovered those kind of things, and they're very important in certain cultures. So just an interesting thing that I think probably came directly from the location of wanting to, I think it's set in Peru, right? Is the opening.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we're in Peru. What's something in this area from a tribe or something that has come before that he can find. So,
yeah.
Yeah, they're the sort of thing that are found in like cultures all over the world.
I know
Like
India
there's some like really like interesting ones that I learned about with my education from like different cultic religions in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But it's really them doing a shout out to the adventure serials that George grew up on.
Yeah.
And like every indie movie starts with like Tiny MacGuffin, and then we get to the real one. So it's that sort of thing. But like Return of the Jedi is also shouting out those adventure serials, because Jabba's Palace is like, we're gonna have a mini adventure before we start the real adventure. That's just a George thing that he loves.
Were those mini adventures like, they weren't based off of, like, was it a direct show that had like an actual archaeologist? I really have no idea.
It's just like that genre.
I know,
right?
like
I don't think of, I can't think of anything in particular. But
I know like the
really
Gene Autry serials, and this sounds really silly, but like I always cited this one, like, and I've talked to Pablo about it, like back and forth on Twitter, but like the Gene Autry serials, as silly as they are, and as the cowboy singer kind of thing it is, like I know part of like the title, like the Phantom Menace, is directly ripped from the Phantom Empire, was like the exact name of a Gene Autry serial. So like I don't know, it's just there's always parallels, and I never knew if this was directly pulled from like this character being pulled directly from a very almost adjacent version of I can't think of the show right now. Flash Gordon. You know what I mean? Like how Star Wars had that exact like kind of riffing. I didn't know if Indiana Jones had one directly pulled from a show.
I don't think it was direct.
No.
I think there was a lot of very similar adventure serials, all like adventuring in a jungle.
World War II serials.
Yeah.
I think some cowboy serials probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were
Republic serials.
The sort of like jungle adventure.
Yeah.
Treasure hunter serials were I think a big deal and when George was growing up.
And it's so funny because they, they're I don't know how much different in age they are, but their sensibilities are definitely the same exact thing. Like George's sense of humor and his, Steven's sense of like, I guess, cinematography, like they're so unique, but also they mesh so well.
The Phantom, I think, is probably the most similar to Indiana Jones.
The Phantom,
which there was a movie that came out in like the 90s with the villain from Titanic as the lead character. But he's like a superhero who was raised in the jungle by like tribal people, and he fights Nazis and like finds pirate treasure. And it was like a really popular serial.
Yeah, 1943. That makes sense. Tom
so
Tyler.
I would guess that's probably a big one that some indie DNA is based on.
That makes sense. Yeah, I have it pulled up right here. I didn't realize that was a thing. You can kind of tell, actually, just in terms of
the Phantom was big for like a year in the 90s.
Modern movie was really fun. Like he does fight some Nazis and he does get some pirate treasure. There are, I'm sure, some problematic elements even
I'd
in
imagine,
the modern movie because of the kind of white guy jungle motif. But
and definitely in this, there's probably some really problematic stuff.
Oh,
in
I'm
this
sure,
shit.
yeah.
The seat of judgment.
We loved our white saviors in the 90s for sure. Yeah.
But the one with the guy from Titanic is a fun movie.
I bet. Yeah, it's funny. It's like
Is that him
you
with
know,
Batman?
I don't know. I oh wait, yeah, look.
Yeah. Look at that.
Wow, with Lewis Wilson's
nice.
Batman. So bizarre. Man, the 30s and 40s were a different time, you know.
They were
Sure
wild,
were.
man.
That was their Avengers Endgame. Was that?
Yes. Yeah. On your left, chum. Right.
Does anyone have a favorite scene or anything from this movie that they want to focus on for a second?
Indy has the best chase scenes.
I agree. 100%.
Go ahead, Andy, though. I'm sorry. What
I don't know if I necessarily want to like shout out a favorite scene, but I do just want to say like how influential, like, again, like probably the most problematic scene in this whole movie is the opening, but it's so influential in like an entire generation of D&D players.
Oh, yeah.
Like because of that scene and like the adventure game, like video game franchise exists because of that opening scene, like with the booby traps and the puzzles, and like same with like Indy and the Staff of Ra and the Well of Tears. Like you got to get the right length, and you got to get the artifact, and you got to put it on the staff, and then you got to get down there at the right time of day, and you got to decipher it so you know when that is, and then the light's going to hit it, and it's going to show you where the treasure is, and like every video game, every adventure video game, like has taken inspiration from this movie and the puzzles and the traps and that whole genre. Like Dungeons and Dragons would not exist without Indiana Jones. Like, I'm saying that matter of factually. Like Lara Croft, Nathan Drake do not exist without Indy. Like the puzzles and the traps and the freaking boulder, like it's so
everyone's
huge.
trying to create that. Like they're trying to create their own Indiana Jones now. Like they're trying to create
we take it
their
for
own,
granted now because we've played the knockoffs and we've seen the knockoffs and we've played the board games and the video games and stuff, and like we've seen other movies do it, but like this is the DNA. And I'm not going to say that Indy did it first, but Indy did it best.
Well, yeah, it you know, it's funny. The fact that you said it earlier, Andy, it inspired so much. And I was like, you know, I remember reading an interview with Miyamoto, who made, you know, obviously all of Nintendo's biggest hits, but in particular Legend of Zelda. He cites that if Indiana Jones did not exist, Legend of Zelda would not exist. And for those that haven't played the new game, like the new game is nothing but exploring, getting hit by booby traps, hiding, running, jumping, like all of it. And like you're so dead on with that statement, because you wouldn't have Lara Croft, you wouldn't even have Crash Bandicoot. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have all these games that are strictly based in like
Crash getting chased by the polar bear is the boulder.
Yes,
like that is the boulder from Raiders.
And like even that alone, like the iconography of the boulder sequence. Like
how many times has that been spoofed on something?
Unbelievable.
Like, effing Bluey. The little dog from Australia did it. In fact they call the game Raiders. That they were like, hey Dad, let's play Raiders.
The whole bit where he takes the sand and he like tries to eyeball how heavy the idol is, and then he fills the bag, and then he does the magic fingers, and then he swaps. Like it's so sexy. It's so dramatic. Like he is kind of a dirtbag. Like he's kind of a shit protagonist, but like he's so compelling. Like Harrison Ford just chews every scene. Oh
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
When he's like beat up and like smoking the cigarette and drinking and like bitching to Marion. Oh my God, he's so hot. Happy Pride Month. Like
I agree.
Hey, hell yeah, happy Pride Month.
Brendan, what about you? Is there a favorite scene for you?
I am half Middle Eastern, right? And there's not a lot of like Middle Eastern representation in the movies that I liked growing up, which is it's not. But Sallah was always like my guy. I was like, oh, Salah's great. All the Egypt scenes are like fantastic. My mom used to get upset because of the sword fight that turns into him just shooting the gun, because she was like, they're just showing Middle Eastern people as whatever. I'm like, okay, Mom, he had diarrhea. Yeah. That's why they did this. But anything with Sallah is so John Rhys Davies in that role is so magnetic, and like his choices in it are just like beautiful, and him singing and him being with his family, like it's just like a really fantastic lived in character, and so anything with Sala really kind of steals the show for me, especially in Raiders.
The friendship feels so genuine between
It
Indy
does.
and Sala.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And I love the planting and payoff where, like, as soon as Indy gets to Sala, he is pounding dates, and he's like offering dates to Marion, and he's just talking about how much he loves dates. And then we get the poison and like Sala's catch
Bad
and like
dates.
how he says bad dates. It's so good. And like,
it's so
this movie does planting and payoff so well.
Very well. Yeah. So Brandon, you must be like crazy excited for Sala. I'm excited for Sala to come back.
I think he's in that one. I think we've seen Sala's scene.
I think we have too.
Which again, I'm totally cool with it. I'm totally fun with it. I will say there is a they released a new poster. Probably the final poster today. And if you
I saw that.
If you zoom, it's a beautiful poster, but if you zoom in on the blurry credit block, which I did because I'm a crazy person, they reveal another person who is officially in the movie. In the credit block. So that's I don't know if you need to put it. I don't know. I don't want people to get spoiled, but obviously if Disney's putting it on the poster.
If it's on the poster, it's not a spoiler.
We're good.
I'll get it pulled up in a second. I'm looking for it right now.
It's okay.
Well, just say we're not talking Dial of Destiny yet, but that whole
it's like you can guess it in one. Honestly, you can guess it in one. Who it would be?
Is it Marion?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
No.
Karen Allen.
I was kind of worried that she wasn't going to. So
I know. Same here. I was a little bit, but like it is the only one that like.
So it's this poster, and I'm gonna look for it without.
Let's see if I'm
help.
crazy, or maybe someone got me. Maybe someone duped me. Maybe someone was like,
"Do we?"
Yeah, zoom in on the bottom if you can.
On the very bottom. Yeah, I'm gonna
very bottom. Yeah, all
That's
the tiny words. The tiny. This is what I did today at work. I just zoomed in on these tiny blurry
all
words.
you should do at work is this.
Hold on. I was like, oh, that says Karen Allen. Great.
I can barely see. Okay. I hold on. I have to do it in a different way. Let me see if I can.
You're good.
Sorry to really mess up here.
No, I love this.
Listen, this is 100% Bombad. You know this.
This is Bombad.
This is Bombad as hell. So I think Scotty, didn't we have like a prediction we were trying to make for Rise of Skywalker when we did the Bombad build up? We need something for this. Like, so do we think? Or this might be too sad. I don't know. Are Marion and Indy still together? Do you think? Or are they going to pull a Leia and Han thing?
So.
What do you think?
I think they're still together. I think they're still together, and they'll reference Mud.
I hope we get Mud.
Okay,
I think they'll reference.
I don't think Mutt's in the movie. There's no way
we won't see Shia, but they will reference Mud.
They'll definitely bring him up.
Yeah,
I hope they bring him up because I know. And again,
I hope they're like he's in the military or
yeah.
something. I love Shia LaBeouf. I know he's got his moments, but like that
he's a
era.
phenomenal performer.
Yes,
he's got some issues in his
I
personal life.
I wish he would have gotten his.
He's
due.
soon to be in a movie that I'm sure my mom will send me.
All
ticket
child
to
stars.
He's in a Padre
time,
Pio movie. He's going to be in a Catholic movie.
Is he
my
really?
My mom is going to be pumped. Yeah, he converted Catholicism a couple years ago.
I knew that.
But he's like again, my mother's gonna love him. He's like a self-flagellating Catholic.
Oh, Lord.
That honestly tracks. That tracks.
Not in a physical way, not like the guy.
No.
Da Vinci Code,
okay.
But in a way that is very like
very devout.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So he's Catholic.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
For 2 seconds now, I don't know if y'all can speak to this. I don't know why. This is also another speculation on Dial Destiny, but that's kind of what this is all for, if I'm going to be honest with you. Where a lot of this is
we are building. This is our build up to Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
Whenever,
what is this? What is something coming out?
Well, I'll pull it up. I'm pulling it up. I thought, like, because I'm watching this, right? I don't know the name of this character.
Jones.
I don't know if we have a name. Do we have a name for this character yet?
I know it's what's her name's it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge's dad. Her name is Helena Shaw, so I assume this is Dr.
Mr. Shaw.
Okay,
Dr. Shaw.
Because have we ever seen Marion's dad before?
No, it's not Abner.
Okay.
It's not Abner.
I was
it would be
wondering
very
how
cool if they did it.
I know.
That would be nice.
That would be rad.
They didn't do it.
He'd be so old.
So there is a theory that has been promulgated by the actor himself, Richard Young, and I believe the theory. This is a theory that I believe. One of my little Galaxy's Brain conspiracy theories, and maybe you've heard it because it's not like. But the opening sequence for Crusade when he meets Fedora. They call him just Fedora in the movie. That's what he's credited as in the end credits, Richard Young. But apparently the initial idea from Spielberg to Richard Young, the actor, was that you are Abner Ravenwood.
Oh,
which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I kind of like that. Again, I'm not a big headcanon guy. That's one of my headcanons. That's one of them.
That's fun.
I like that.
The pretty good headcanon. That's
because I was watching the trailer again before I saw Guardians. I'm like, could that be but I get it. Not
again, I'm totally cool with new characters. They did a lot of it in Crystal Skull, right? And really made it be like, he has a cast of characters beyond Sala, Short Round, and Marion. You know what I mean? And so
he has other friends.
But I do think, again, like when they were talking about goddaughters, I was like, oh, it'd be really great if it was like Brody's kid or something like that. Like those. Like again, I'm not a fan fiction guy, not a fan service guy or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, and again, I think it's totally fine to just be like, no, he has like other friends. But it's like, there's opportunities for connection that I'm sure they talked through and decided against. So
to bring it back to Raiders. We're
Yeah.
talking Marion, we're talking about Abner.
Listen, I got us into speculation. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that all day, baby.
Were you joking? Okay. No, I can talk about Raiders.
No, yeah,
the bar
of course.
Please
the
go
bar
on.
scene is like my favorite fight in the movie.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's
the sounds, all of it.
Talking about iconic introductions,
Yeah, Marion gets a killer introduction, and I'm blanking on his name, but the creepy SS guy, the creepy Nazi.
Tote. Yeah,
Arnold. Yeah, Tote. He gets a great intro. He's
hello, Fräulein.
He's so weird and creepy. And
I have his figure. I have his action figure. Jones action figure, and it's him. Sorry. Oh, I haven't opened it. I could open it on camera,
unboxing.
We're not going to make you do that unless you want to, Brandon.
I don't know. I'm trying to just make sure that you.
Is this the
content? Sorry, Andy was going through a whole thing.
Talking.
We got people getting lit on fire and punching each other.
God,
it's just such a good scene. Marion gets to kick butt. Like she's not just a damsel in distress. It's just a really good set piece action scene.
She drinks that guy under the table that looks like a dude I went to college with. Like, absolutely, yeah.
The last first date I had with a woman. She said at the end of the date, she went, well, Indiana, you still know how to show a woman a good time. And I was just like, I think I'm gay, but like that's like the best thing anyone's ever said to me after a date.
Honestly, I'd propose on the
I think
spot
I'm gonna need to stay in the closet for another few years now. Like,
damn it.
Oh,
that's a really good line.
That's good.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say she looked at you holding like a medallion and said, "I'm your goddamn partner."
I did say the next indie line in response, and then she like laughed and was like, I don't know what to say after that. And I'm like, goddamn partner. But like,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was good.
I do love that scene because it reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean or a similar Disney dark ride with all the gags, like where you don't see stuff, but it's happening in response.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the things pouring out and all that stuff. It's like that would happen in Pirates of the Caribbean. You can imagine them just being like, oh, let's do all this like stupid stuff. It's just like again, this whole movie is like a roller coaster. This whole series is like a roller coaster, and it's just these are the best.
I think it's the only time we see Indy use a Colt 1911, and so like the gun nerd in me is like, did they film this first before they decided to give him the revolver? Like, why is he using the Colt 1911 here and not the revolver that we like see him pack and stuff?
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
That's like an interesting thing. That's like America's gun too, though. Like that gun is like a very big deal. So it's also interesting that like Indy uses it here and only here, and then he's using the cowboy revolver.
Andy, I had no idea you were into guns. That's pretty amazing.
I was raised Republican, and there is stuff
Some
that
of
you
it sticks
keep
with
when
you.
you leave. It just doesn't go away. Yeah.
No, I thought it was interesting in terms of sound design too, because I was watching it from that perspective, and there's one very peculiar sound. I wish I could pull it up without getting any copyright stuff, but it sounds like a B1 battle droid. It sounds. I'm sorry. It sounds like the.
Oh, really?
What's the blaster they use? What's the B1s? What's the ones they use? It sounds like that one. And I was like, I'm
know
about
what
to
you're
go
talking
back
about.
and scrub on my phone to make sure I'm hearing that right. Or it sounds like, like
it's like that.
Yeah, it's a very peculiar sound.
I will say the gunshots in Indiana Jones don't sound like gunshots in any other film. Like
I
the sound
agree.
effects,
Yes,
which I love. I love that they have
Total
their
different.
own like. These are what our sound effects sound like, and no one else can use them.
Well, and the
Like,
punches,
ever.
of course.
The punches are so they're so
it's
crisp.
so campy. They're so campy. Oh, I love that shit. Yeah, the fire and everything, and them playing with the fire the entire scene. Like that is a total vibe. I completely agree.
Oh, they're gonna kill. What they're gonna like burn his face by like burning the fire like way down the line and everything.
love
and,
that.
like,
It's also good.
He gets up like at the last. I mean, Brandon, you're right. I mean, this whole thing is This is a Disney ride, which all of it became Disney rides. Like after this, right? Like I got to go to the stunt spectacular one time, and like they put that thing on effing Full House. Like, remember when like DJ thought that Steve was Indiana Jones?
Wait a minute, no way.
I don't remember that.
At all.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm from the night. I was born in the 90s.
Hold
Does anyone else
on.
watch Full House?
Yeah,
Anyone
no,
else
I remember that
extremely
episode.
white like me. Like
I'm about to watch this clip. I have never seen this.
have you never really?
What?
Full House, man. Full House was like
It's a good
that
show.
was every Christian
I
family's
know.
favorite show. It still is good. Like it kind of holds up a little bit. Some of it,
Wait, this is real? I had no. This is amazing, Jerry.
You for real didn't know it? They went to
I didn't
Disney
know-
World for like 2 episodes.
It's a great episode because Steve is the voice of Aladdin, so they have him dressed as
That's
Aladdin.
true.
In
Okay,
the
here we
parade.
go. Jesus Christ.
Indiana Jones is so brave and handsome.
I
Reminds me of
agree.
Steve.
It's a great. You should clip that out for your
Louis
intros for
remind
the
you of
next
Steve.
month.
We should.
How fun for the actor who plays Steve to get to
God.
like be Indy for the dream sequence.
Can you
at this.
imagine?
Oh my God, this is amazing. No way.
He's got the fertility idol and everything too.
No way.
Scotty, have you ever seen that show?
Yeah.
I love you, DJ.
No one thinks you're really here.
I love 90s TV, man.
That was amazing. I had not seen that.
90s TV when it hits and it's not like problematic. So
Speaking
good.
of 90s TV, Young Indiana Jones Adventures just got added to Disney Plus, I believe.
Produced by
remember
Rick
watching-
Callum.
I remember watching a little bit with my family. I don't remember any of the episodes. Like, I remember watching it when it came out. Like, on TV.
George's
watch
intention
it.
for that, right? George's intention for that was for it to be played in middle schools. That was his whole goal. He wanted to be accurate enough to play at a middle school. That was his like actual goal. I read that, and I think the Paul Hirsch,
George.
the Paul Hirsch biography, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, that one. I mean, like that was his goal with Indiana Jones Chronicles.
He does meet like important historical figure like every single episode.
And
so
it's like
that makes sense, yeah.
Very little, like I know it's got some like obviously some campy violence, but like the whole goal was like if you could get away with playing this like on a sub day, which I might do this year. Now that it's accessible,
We've
could
got a
you
clip
imagine?
from that too. Like, yeah.
Oh, we do. I don't know where it's at. I can't find it. In
We
the
got the
archive.
indie saxophone. But
Sean
we have to
Patrick
show it right now.
Flannery plays young Indy, who is most famous for Boondock Saints.
Yes,
Mr.
that's right.
Powder. Look up Sean Patrick Flannery Powder to really get a jump scare.
Jesus.
Talk about 90s. Talk about 90s stuff.
Oh man, we love our 90s stuff here.
Powder. Look, this is great. I love when we have very studied people on. You know,
Well,
John-
I'm just good for powder. I'm
Then
just
we
good for
chase
powder.
our rabbits down the
Yes.
down to
If you
Neverland.
literally type in powder on Google Images, he is the first person to pop up for powder, which is pretty intense. And then
Look
it's
at here we go.
That's power right there. Look at that.
What? What is this?
He's powder, man.
He's just powder?
He's powder.
What the hell does that mean?
He's just
Brent?
powder.
No, that-
Powder. An extraordinary encounter with another human being. This is baked. What is this?
This is
What
what
is
y'all
this?
should do. You should do like you should be like, okay, like Bombadcast is doing a rewatch of Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, like tune in live, and then it's just y'all watching Powder.
Powder.
Just watch
What
powder.
is this,
Just watch
Brandon?
Powder. Listen, man, it's really hard to explain. It's really like
Was Powder
really,
an alien? Who knows?
We
he's a special boy.
we need to course correct. but
I don't know
No.
if you need to course correct. I think you can just talk about Powder.
honestly,
man.
this is unlocking memories. This is unlocking childhood memories for me. I don't think I watched Powder like sat down and watched it, but I remember being in a room where there was at least like a preview or
Yeah.
someone watching it.
Here's the
You know
thing:
what I mean?
Powder was filmed in Austin, Texas, which that's where I live. And so
It looks
maybe,
just
Scotty,
like
if,
it.
if you're gonna be in Austin, maybe we do a
We'll have
Powder
to-
location
Go to-
search.
Yeah, that's what we have to do.
It's like, no, we're not getting a drink.
that's well. Listen, you said that, and now that's just getting booked on our schedule.
That's it.
Okay,
It's done.
I need to find the exact locations. Maybe we'll be close to somewhere.
it's just gonna be a YouTube video of us just driving around.
How close I am
aimlessly.
to Powder filming locations. I could be pretty close. Exploring
This
the
is
filming locations of
incredible.
Powder. Sorry, I'm just gonna like.
He's gonna freak out in 2 minutes when he lives in the
No, I'm
building.
just
it was
gonna go.
filmed in.
I'm gonna. But this is now saying filmed in South Carolina. Doesn't
Oh.
make sense.
You've been lied to.
We get some
No.
Mandela effect going on here.
No, if you type in Powder filming locations, then it's filming locations were around the suburbs of Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, Texas. And then on IMDb, same thing. And then if you go to the enlightenedmindset.com, then it's telling me otherwise.
Okay.
Young
Well,
Indiana
while
Jones.
Brandon
I'm
does
sorry.
his,
I'm sorry.
Brandon
I'm
does
sorry.
research.
I'm
My
sorry.
favorite scene in this whole thing
In
is
Powder.
yes, in Powder, is
Powder.
when they go to Tanis, Egypt, and they
I love
no,
when
do
Powder
love
dances with the
scene.
lightning.
Yes, yes.
That's, you should edit now. Here's another thing for your intro. Edit the Well of Soul, or not the Well of Souls, the opening of the arc from the end with the lightning, and then edit it with a Powder scene of him and the lightning, and then it's like this is how Indy
fuck is
learned how to
this
close
movie?
his eyes.
Where's my
Put
pen?
your eyes,
Here we go.
Indiana.
Write this down. All right.
And also, the Indiana Jones is so brave and strong, just like Steve is also good.
That is a good clip.
It's a good.
like
clip.
Congratulations, you're our new producer, Brandon.
Listen, man, I barely produce my own show, so I'm down for.
That's
I want to
right.
yell about something else. Can I yell about something
Yeah,
else?
here we go.
So oh wow, I'm on the full screen.
Maybe you gotta.
Some
We love to hear you yell.
clickbait idiot wrote an article like years ago about how Indiana Jones didn't need to do anything in Raiders of the Lost Ark because the Nazis were going to open the Ark and they'd all get their faces
Oh, I
melted.
fucking
and he
hate
doesn't
that thing.
actually do anything in the movie. He doesn't help solve anything. And you know what? You're an idiot, whoever wrote that. And if you share that article, you're also an idiot.
Yeah.
Because
Amen.
like
Yeah.
there is a real talk about like fantasy movies and games using Nazis and that kind of like diminishing, the real world evil. However, this movie was made by a Jewish man who hates Nazis and wanted his hero to like beat up and kill Nazis. And I love the sick glee that Indy has every time he violently murders a Nazi in this movie specifically. I mean, it's in
The
all
guy
of
in
them,
the propeller. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
but
the
he
greatest.
like has a little like snicker every time he like brutalizes someone, and it's great. So
Yeah.
one, like that argument is also wrong, but two, like there is a real Jewish like tradition of Yahweh like using non-believers to accomplish his goals. And like,
yeah,
he doesn't, like, God, capital He, capital H, he doesn't need to like use them. He doesn't need to use humans to accomplish his ends. Like, God could have just melted all of the Nazis' faces off without Indy being present, you know, like clearly he has that power to melt faces. But like this idea of like God choosing the non-believer to be his champion to accomplish his will, like we see that with Moses. And like, did Moses need to hold his hands up for God to part the Red Sea when you're reading Exodus? Like, no, God could have just parted the Red Sea, but like Moses doing that act of faith meant something for like Moses and the Hebrews. So like, Indy didn't need to go fight the Nazis to like save the Ark. God could have just done
his will.
But like Indy choosing to respect the power of the Ark and to respect this God that isn't his God and being like, Marion, close your eyes. Like we need to like show this reverence like here, or we're going to get our faces melted. Like that's what the movie is about. It's not about like the Nazis just all like killing themselves because they don't comprehend it. It's Indy learning to show reverence and respect for a God that isn't his, and like God choosing to like use him to accomplish his will. Like that's what's powerful here. Like it's Gideon, it's Samson, it's the whole book of Judges. Like God is choosing to use a non-believer, I mean, like those other people were Jews, but he's using a non-Jew here to accomplish his goal to like defeat the evil of the Nazis. And like it's not about, oh well, if Indy didn't go at all, then the Nazis all would have died. And it's like, shut up. Like that's not the point of the movie.
No, and I agree. One thing I wrote down too under theme,
by the way,
I wrote it's a cautionary tale highlighting the potential consequences of unchecked ambitions and the need for humility. Because that's all it is. The Nazis were not humble in how they were going to approach and use the power of God, right? And I know like
this is every possible advantage.
Yes, they want to do it's just like Palpatine in the sense of like, yes, you can use the Force, but it's how you use the Force is what you end up getting out of it. If you use the Force for good, then obviously use the light side of the Force. But like what they were using is, you know, the power of God to achieve a goal, not using God, you know, himself or themselves as the actual way to, I guess, honor their goal. You see what I'm saying? Like Andy, you know a lot about this because I know you studied. You and Jerry both have like gone through a lot of biblical studying. So
the Ark was not like a super weapon. Like and like shout out to Spielberg because he did like very accurate depiction of like what the Ark looked like. If you touch the Ark, you die, and no one touches the Ark the entire movie, which is like a fun little like Easter egg thing. But like, if you just put the Ark in front of your army and march to war, like God is not obligated to kill your enemies for you. Like, in fact, the Ark gets stolen because in real life, not in the movie, or according to like biblical mythology.
Yes.
The Jews went to war, but they had been sinning, and so they lost the battle and the Ark gets stolen. So like because of the sins of the Israelites, God like did not choose to go into battle with them with the Ark because God would go where the Ark was. And so they were like, okay, well, like even though we're doing all these sins, we're going to go to battle, bring the Ark, and God will still like be obligated to like have us win the battle. And God was like, no, actually you're going to lose. And now you're going to lose this really important relic that meant a lot to you. And so like the Nazis are clearly sinning. Even if they had the Ark, God would not have gone into battle with them. So like, yes, like Indy didn't even need to go for any reason because like the Ark would never have worked for the Nazis because they're evil. And God is not just going to bless them because they have one of his toys. So like it shows a complete misunderstanding of what the Ark is. And like, yeah, that's Hitler. Like Hitler's dumb. Like he was really good at killing people and he was really good at like getting elected, but like he was really bad when it came to understanding other people's cultures and beliefs. And he was obsessed with finding weird magic stuff because he was kind of a crazy person. But like, yeah, the Ark wouldn't have worked for the Nazis. They're terrible. And God, it turns out God really loves the Israelites. and Hitler didn't. So like, he would not have helped them.
Well, I've always loved the Indiana Jones franchise for this reason. Like the fact that you can play with very important historical, I guess you could say, items or historical legacy, right? You know, like the Nazis being obsessed with the occult. Like that's a real thing, you know? Like they were trying
it goes
to make
much
like
deeper than you think.
UFO technology.
They were trying to build a UFO. The Nazis, apparently, allegedly.
Yes, but like it wasn't always, you know, and it was with any faith basis too. So like that's why I always appreciated, you know, things like, I guess, the Crystal Skull or the Holy Grail. Like you have these items that are actual items that are of interest to people, and they're mythological items. And like, I don't know, it plays that Campbellian thing too. I guess for me, it's like, you know, these items are very, very sacred to a certain group of people. And the fact that Indiana Jones has or comes in contact with each one of them it just always made me excited to see that, and how it always played out in every movie is cool. So like, you know, with Dial of Destiny, I'm like, how is this going to make any sense contextually in terms of history?
I don't know if this is based on an actual artifact. I
have no idea.
It is, but I like it.
It is loosely based on.
I was gonna say it seems.
It's like a Roman artifact or something.
Okay,
it's obviously not something that is time travel, but
the Sakara stones also are like kind of made up for.
I think
right?
they are.
Yeah.
I think those are at least.
So they've done that before with like, we're going to invent a MacGuffin to kind of serve our purposes. But like, they do talk about some like interesting, like
loosely based.
Very loosely based beliefs in all of the movies. And like, some of them are more accurate and faithful depictions of real world beliefs than others. But like, it is funny that like someone would think it's a plot hole. That like the arc wouldn't have worked for the villain, so Indy didn't need to be there. And it's like, no, but like Indy needed to be there for Indy. Like, Indy is going on a journey here. And like, that's what this is about, and that's what's important. And people, clickbait has just like rotted people's brains.
Also, I think it was said on The Big Bang Theory, which really got the normies going, because it's also
the normies. Yes.
Because also it's like they were digging in the wrong place anyway. Like they would never have found it. So the whole movie doesn't. Anyway, I hate everybody.
Talking about things
you don't get that cool car chase where Indy rides up on the horse.
I only go to movies to have scientifically proven things shown to me. And
I only want to see characters make logical decisions in every scenario.
I want to make sure that the characters align with my morals, and if they don't align with my morals, then it's an inherently wrong movie.
I don't want to see any perfectly impure heroes.
Also, if there is any plot hole, then it's just. I'm just gonna immediately turn off. It's fine. It's just like, you know, it's hard. I could write a much better script than most of these people, and it's like Hollywood needs to just figure it out. No, or just rely on AI. I think AI is really the solution here.
They're on it.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as of a couple days ago, when you guys are actually watching this, but like today, like you had a lot of people like saying, like, now we can see the backgrounds of paintings, and I'm so excited that we can see the backgrounds of paintings now.
Yeah, here's what Leonardo da Vinci could have done if he was good at art.
If he had IMAX in mind, right? Like IMAX widescreen. Yeah.
Well, I just want to know the next movie
was bigger.
I just want to know. I want to see like Batman in the style of Wes Anderson. Like it's like I just really want to know. I just want to know, guys.
What drives me crazy about that is Patrick H. Willems made a bunch of fake movie trailers about like what if the guy from The Room made Batman, or what if Wes Anderson made X-Men, and they're all amazing. They're all like beautiful, like love letters to the media that they're like spoofing, and also the like art styles of those directors. And like AI does such a terrible job. Like Wes Anderson is more than like shots that are like balanced compositionally. Like he's more than like an interestingly framed wide shot, and like a spooky kid saying a spooky weird thing. Anyway, let's talk about Belloc. Can we talk about Belloc?
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah,
Actually,
please.
I want to bring up one photo. So Brandon sent this picture of Jerry's dad. This is Jerry's dad. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, there he is.
see.
Yeah, back in
It's
his
actually
back in his wrestling days. Absolutely, yeah.
I
Look
love
at
it.
You had said earlier you had brought up the guy that gets thrown into the propeller, and here he is. This is Pat Roach.
I was gonna say this is the guy.
The actual
right?
This is the guy, and then he's also in Temple of Doom. He might be wearing a tiny bit of blackface as one of the big guards.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. And then he gets cut from
I
Last
can't wait
Crusade.
to
He is in
talk
Last
about Temple of
Crusade.
Doom.
He was supposed to be on the blimp, but he got cut.
Oh,
But he's
that's
also
a bummer that they
he's
cut
also
it.
Bummer.
he's also General Cable.
Well, at least
the
they
main
kept him
bad
in
guy
Temple of Doom.
Willow, So
Really?
So,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, he is. You're
Yeah.
right. Okay.
What's weird is he's obviously like a big indie guy, but he never made it into anything Star Wars, which is very odd for someone that was collaborating so heavily with Lucasfilm during that time.
Yeah, and George loves to cast a big dude in heavy prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Happens every
Is
time.
This
He's
might
still
be slightly
around?
problematic, but he is hot as the wrench Nazi.
Hey, you gotta
The mustache and he's
I get it.
shirtless.
You
I
can
get
be
it.
hot and wrong as hell.
And he's-
Okay.
and he's like
Yeah, that's what we were
tossing
just
it-
saying. I want everyone in my movies to be hot and also morally correct. Otherwise, what's the point?
The opening punch when he like punches Indy and like Harrison does the little thing and then like falls on his butt.
Uh-huh.
And he's like clearly having such a good time just like beating the shit out of Indy. And he's I know he's evil, like I know he's a Nazi, but he is hot.
He's having fun.
Yeah.
Look, he walks out. He's like in the little hut, and he comes out, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take my shirt off and go beat this guy's ass. Here we go. All right, yeah."
No,
And then
tell
he's
us
in
about-
Temple of Doom, and that's all we're gonna say.
Do you know who the other person in that?
Yes, I do.
We're talking about the propeller shot, and
It's
that is
DJMF.
again. If we're talking about a great
Just
movie,
watched that scene,
a great
actually.
scene. The other person in the shot besides Marion and
DJMF.
Harrison Ford is what's his magician name?
This DJ's
Mr.
name is
Fantastic.
DJMF. If I'm
I
not
think
mistaken.
he's Captain Fantastico. What is he? Sorry. Frank Marshall, magician. One second.
Frank Marshall. He is the pilot. I don't know if y'all knew that. He is the pilot
Is
in
he
the
the
thing.
pilot?
So the
Oh.
producer, Kathleen Kennedy's husband, Frank Marshall, is
Oh.
the pilot.
Doctor.
I just can't.
Le
All I think about is
Doctor.
Scotty's scenario that he told me about a little bit ago of like them in their mansion and him yelling at Kathy
gonna
to
cut
come
this.
check out like check out this new mix I made.
I'm remixed Buffett and Pitbull, and it sounds so Kathleen. Come here. She's on the phone with Bob Iger. Like
I was literally just like, Scotty, you have to be wrong. How could Kathleen Kennedy be married to a pilot from the 40s? And then I was like, oh yeah, it's a movie from the 80s.
Right.
DJMF.
You sound like you're writing an article for one of these big publications.
Yeah.
He made a tweet today. He made a tweet of like, you should buy these soundtracks on vinyl.
I saw that
And
too.
I commented under, said, I want to hear your remix, DJMF. I'm waiting for the day he's like, fuck off, or like, I'm gonna block you. Like, I can't wait for that day. I will tweet that man. He's responded to me
Scotty's
once.
trying to get
or
blocked by Frank
whoever
Marshall.
runs that Twitter page.
I think he runs Late October,
I
man.
think
I
so,
think
because
he's Late October boy.
He tweeted at me once because he had that Jazz Fest documentary that came out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
where is the screening? I want to see this in New Orleans. He's like, it will open in theaters in 2 weeks. I'm like, whoa. Frank Marshall just tweeted at me. But yeah, no, I want to hear your Belloc thing because I like the character a lot. But what's your take on it, Andy?
I think he's the best indie villain.
Oh, I would agree. He's pretty damn good. He's out for himself.
His dialogue to Indy
He's
in the
complicated.
bar is one. It's remarkably homoerotic.
Yeah,
and I do think that's intentional. It is like a very classic trope of we're going to not just like inverse the hero, but we're going to like queer code the hero a little bit for like the evil version. Like very famously done in X-Men comics with Cable and Strife, where they're clones of each other, and Strife is like the evil gay one, and Cable is like the heroic heterosexual one. And like Indian Belloc, I think, is like another just like quintessential example of that, where like Belloc is like, Indy, like you and I are the same. Like we have both like fallen
We're both
off
hot.
the good side of archaeology. Like, we are both evil, villainous archaeologists now. I'm just a little more evil than you and a little gayer than you. And, like, you should come down to my level and we should maybe bone about it. And Indy is like, now you're talking dirty to me. He says something like that. And it's like, oh.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
But, like, the whole scene with Marion and the dress, I think it's supposed to feel skeevy. But it doesn't, because he feels so gay about it.
Yeah.
And
oh
it's
yeah, because
like,
he's not really. He doesn't seem very.
He
horny.
watches her in the mirror, but
he does watch her in the mirror. You are right about that. But like, why did he have that
I know
dress
what
and
you're saying.
heels in his room already?
That's a good point.
That's a great question. I love that.
It's
Why
because
would he have
Scotty,
that?
I love Scotty's realization. Like, whoa,
It's because he's
Oh.
gay.
That is pretty weird.
And like,
Not weird, but you know.
obviously the Nazis like hated gay people and were super up for exterminating gay people. Happy Pride, when the Allies freed the camps, they put all of the people with pink triangles back in prison for being gay. Happy Pride. It's horrific. But like, there were gay Nazis. We know there were gay Nazis, and like Belloc is a Nazi. The Indiana Jones movies love to be like, our main villains aren't Nazis, they're just working with the Nazis. But like, if you're working with Nazis, you're a Nazi.
You're a Nazi.
Belloc is a Nazi.
I don't know. Tell that to all the Republicans on my For You page. I'm just kidding. This is a joke.
Belloc is a Nazi. He's a bad dude, and there is an interesting history of like gay collaborators with Nazis. It's not great. There's also like awesome history of gays like resisting Nazis and fighting back in like the Polish and French resistances and stuff. So like, there are heroes and villains in every community. But like, Belloc to me just like screams kind of swishy, classic adventure serial, a little homophobic like portrayal villain. But like, he's phenomenal. He's such a great villain. The actor does an incredible job, and I think he's like, for the Dark Mirror of India, I think he's the best example of that and the most interesting that we get out of the 4 movies so far.
I agree.
Paul Freeman is a fantastic actor, and he is also a fantastic villain. Do you know what other series Paul Freeman was the villain for? Oh, I can just. I'm just going to send you this. I'm going to send you the. I'm just putting links in the chat, man. I don't know if y'all use that for this.
From Last Crusade
I
is
love
yours.
when Brandon comes on the show because it's just like
If you want to
Brandon
know
produces on
who
the show,
played
man.
Ivan Ooze and Power Rangers the
No!
movie, it is Mr. Paul Freeman, baby.
Is he gay in real life?
Listen, this podcast,
I don't think
this YouTube show just became Christina Ariel approved right here.
There it is. There it is, an exclusive.
My mind is blown, honestly.
I just come to at least teach y'all. I just come to let y'all
That's
know.
Belloc.
That's Belloc, baby. Again, we're talking hot. We were talking hot, and I agree. Paul Freeman very hot.
You
as
and I
Belloc.
are
Paul Freeman
not so
also
alike.
very hot as Ivan Ooze, I think.
Yeah.
Ivan
You and I are not so different.
Yeah,
Indiana
look.
Jones.
There he is.
You and I are not so different, Red Power Ranger.
Oh my god.
I'm not
Oh, I
sure
have-
that
I
he's
mean-
gay, but I'm getting some interesting search results. So we'll look at that for later.
You look at
And
this.
we'll get
Is
back
he,
to
is he
this.
canceled? Did he do something?
I love this. This is amazing. Ivan Ooze. Wow.
Here, look.
The more
I
you
wonder if
learn.
I have. Yeah, look at this, baby.
I'm trying to
This-
think of like Ivan Ooze's most
Here, I'm
iconic
gonna-
quotes now.
This is you know, I got married. Congratulations, Scott, on you getting married too. And I'm sure you would say that's
Yes.
the happiest day of your life. This, I
Maybe.
think, is the happiest day of my life. You can
There
see
it
in my
is.
smile. You can really see
Yeah.
how happy I am.
Oh,
I've never
yes.
been happier than right there. Like, and Maggie would be like, "That's fine. I understand."
Well, he wasn't hot. He was in Hot Fuzz as well. Wow.
Yeah, he's the preacher in Hot Fuzz too.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I need to rewatch that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I've never smiled like that in my entire life. So
That's how.
I
Katie
typed in
smiled.
Ivan
I have
Ooze
that- I
quotes,
have
the
the-
preacher
I
from Hot Fuzz popped up as well. Look
yeah,
at
I
that.
have
That's-
it right here. My
Oh, here we
signed
go. Let's
Paul
see it.
Freeman. My signed Paul Freeman idol. But then I have a second. This is a. So here's this. This is a fan.
Okay,
made
which
idol.
which idol? Okay, that's a
yeah,
it's a like
I know, that's the question.
that's an Etsy one.
Yeah, this was just actually they sold it on Amazon, and it's not
Oh,
bad
wow.
quality. But then here's the shop Disney one. which is much bigger. You can kind of
looks heavier.
Yeah. Well, actually, this one's heavier. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So that's that.
My biggest jealousy is what you have in the background that I can clearly see. That guy.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want
that crystal skull.
Fuck, it's so expensive, Brandon.
Here's this. I got this.
Nice.
I got this boy.
I can't wait to break into your house and rob all of your artifacts.
That's why. Well, no, I have.
Do you have tons of booby traps?
Can you get the crystal skull, Brandon? Can you grab the crystal? I can see it. God, it is the one I want. It lights up too, doesn't it?
Same.
Yeah.
Y'all
God,
know,
that's the
that was
one I
another
want.
one of our first steps. Look at how blue it gets.
Wow, hold
That's
on, wait.
very
Let me see.
cool.
Oh,
It's great.
Jesus.
Although it is small. So I when I went to Skywalker Ranch, they had a crystal skull in a display case in the main house, and it was like double this size. And I was like, I want a bigger crystal skull now. Now that I know that the regular one is bigger.
Holding out on us, Disney.
I know.
God
And then
damn.
Here's my voodoo doll.
Give us the to scale one.
Here's my
Disney.
voodoo doll.
Oh, so cool.
And there's that, and
Yeah.
it comes with the pin, which is pretty good.
If you
I
poke
can
it,
hurt
Indiana
myself.
Jones, or
I can,
not
you know.
Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford doubles over in pain.
That's why he
It is-
keeps getting in these plane crashes. Stop screwing around.
It's me being like, damn it.
What I love about this is those all premiered when we were at Celebration Anaheim. They were
Oh, yeah,
they
and I
were
had
unveiled
I
there.
drooled on
Jerry-
that crystal
Jerry-
skull case. I
Jerry
sent a
looked at
picture to you, didn't I?
You're like,
I was like, Scotty.
Brandon,
What?
if I break into your house in
Yes.
austin
Where
they filmed Powder Boy or whatever,
Yeah.
and I rob you of all of these ancient artifacts.
Right.
If I do it dressed as Indy, you can't call the cops.
Sure.
Deal?
Well, I have
Deal?
good renter's insurance, so I'd be fine. But
Okay.
yeah, let's
Renter's
do whatever.
insurance, a giant
Oh,
boulder.
see, now we got a
So-
scheme.
Do whatever. Yeah, let's do some insurance fraud, baby. Cut that out of the
And
line.
then when I sell Scotty and Jerry the artifacts, no
Yes.
questions asked, just like Marcus Brody. You can't ask where I got them.
Right. Listen, we're colonials. It's fine. Yeah.
We're not. Colonialism is bad.
I have a.
Is that a
Yeah,
Godzilla?
colonialism
or a Max
is
Rebo?
bad.
I
Yes.
have a Club
That was a
Obi-Wan
joke.
menu.
What?
That's
Obi-Wan?
Club Obi-Wan from Temple
that-
of Doom.
is that is it a prop one or no? Is that just like
No,
a-
it's not real. No,
It's-
but it came with a coin. It came with a coin, but it has like all the entrees. I don't know if you can read that, but it has like the hors d'oeuvres that they sell at Club Obi-Wan.
I will take one of
That's
everything,
rad.
honestly.
Thanks, guys. What else? Oh,
I can't wait to go
I'm
visit
sorry,
your
I really
place.
sorry to derail, but if we're talking India,
Not at all.
and-
No,
Yeah.
it's your
So
So you
first
gotta
time
see all
on
the
here.
indie shit.
Yeah, let's look at it. Of
Yeah, let's
course.
sell the indie shit.
Listen,
Let's see. No, this is great. My wife's out of town. It's just me. My dog Indiana is downstairs, probably barking, but I can't hear because these are kind of noise canceling. So okay,
way to go, Indiana. There we go.
here's my tiki mug.
Oh, nice.
So you can put the liquid in here, and then the straw
Oh.
goes here.
Oh,
This was $100. This was $100.
is that Geeky Tiki? Who is
No,
that?
this was a
Okay.
Etsy fan.
Oh.
Kiki Tiki.
They have no Indiana Jones, do they?
No, they do. They do have Indiana Jones now.
Oh.
The only issue I have with them is they did the fertility idol, which I think would be the perfect tiki mug, but they didn't stylize it at all, and I wish they had stylized it. And which is kind of a bummer. And I bet someone will make it eventually. Okay, speaking of Raiders, this is my tote candle. So you light it here, and then it melts.
I've seen those.
So I have two, and I need to light this one, but I have one in the box. So I can
Light
keep
it right now, baby.
Hey, I can light it. I can unbox. I can do whatever you want. You let me know. Keep that Patreon money coming.
Hey, man,
You just,
I'm a one-man show. Here we go.
Yeah, you tell me what you want, and I will do it.
That's a very
You can
Jorah
also-
Goddess.
Should have had you. We should have had you light at the beginning of the show. That was our fault.
by the
That
end
was
of it-
our fault.
Oh, that would have been great. Idiots.
Idiots,
yeah.
all
You
of
can
us.
light the tote handle and
That would have been so good, guys. I would have done it. I would have done
Make
it.
it
for
hot.
sure.
We would have done an entire. Listen, we would have made an entire. We didn't even do. You should kneel before Masamita
and Gyarados.
Yeah.
We'll do it
Like,
at the end.
listen, we will make a religious ceremony out of that. Like,
Yeah, no,
nothing.
hey man, invite me on for something else for indie and more.
There you go. We'll have to.
The final
By
thing
the
that I-
end, at the end of the indie, like
Uh-oh.
whatever, when we
This
talk
is
about Dial of Destiny, we'll have to
they
have
just
you
put
on and
this
light
on-
the tote
They
candle.
just put this on Shop Disney today. they put a pretty good replica, it looked like, of Indy's bag, you know. But this I got for not that much more. I think the bag on eBay or on Shop Disney is like $40. I think this was $70, but this is like an authentic World War gas mask bag that like is the actual brand that Indy uses.
Wow.
And they made so many of them for the war that they're not that expensive. And so if you're trying to
Interesting.
not get rid of money for
Andy over here is a professional cosplayer, like through and through. No, you are. Don't act like that.
You listen. They are an amazing cosplayer at the very least, and so
have you tried Indiana Jones, Andy, or no? Have you ever thought about it?
For every Halloween when I was in high school, I was Indiana Jones, and people were like, "Really, you're doing Indy again?" And I was like, "Yes." Yes, I'm doing Indiana Jones again. Do you know how hard I worked on this costume? I will wear this because, like, I didn't know like cosplay was a thing. So I was just like, I will wear this every Halloween until I die.
I will be buried in my Indiana Jones costume.
When you asked, like, do you have any indie pics? Like, I looked everywhere for a picture of me.
Oh, that one
in it, and like. I'm sure they're like in my parents' house, which like
that's what
they're lost to the sands of time now. I will never get those pictures. But like every Halloween I was Indiana Jones.
Fuck.
Man. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I got pretty good with the whip. I like practiced like in my backyard with the whip like constantly.
I went to church wearing my dad's brown leather jacket and like khakis and all that kind of stuff and like a cowboy hat like multiple times. Nice. Like just like dressed as like I took a belt even. I couldn't take it inside the church, but like that was my whip and everything, right? Yeah, kind of a thing.
Brandon, are those your wedding cake toppers or are those Indies and Marion's?
No, they are. This is another fan.
Look at this.
That made this. But this is Han and Leia cake topper.
Oh, that's very
like
good.
A resin action figure. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. What else do you want to see? I don't know. Like,
I like your. Is it a teal Godzilla?
Here's a Greedo wrestler.
Yes.
These are so they make it as the it's called Healy Made. He's fantastic, but he's the one that did all the wrestlers like that look like the Kenner aliens, and then these are called Safubi, which are Japanese soft vinyl, and so now he's doing them all again, but as Japanese soft vinyl.
I know the Blast Points guys love
what the Godzilla is. This is Japanese soft vinyl.
Bisexual Pride Godzilla. I love it.
Hey, it's it's about to be Pride Month, right? Or is Pride Month?
Yeah,
it's today.
By the time this airs,
congratulations.
By the time this airs, it's Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Oh yeah.
Godzilla.
Teal Godzilla.
Brought it in.
That's right.
Here.
We bless the gays of Pride Month.
I got my
That's dope.
So here's the thing. This is from Shop Disney as well, and I was a little
Have you drunk
disappointed.
out of it?
No, because they tell you not. They have a thing in there. It's like, do not do that. Just don't do it. Just don't do it because it's lead. But I thought this looked bad. I thought this looked bad. You know, it looked a little.
Yeah, it looks kind of weird.
Here's the thing. Again, when I was at Skywalker Ranch, and they had that in the display case, it looked like this, and I was like, okay, I guess you guys were right. So that's all I'll say.
Wow.
And then here it lights up. If you like,
spank it,
smack it. Yeah, you gotta.
If you gotta give it a little spank.
Slap my stone, Brandon.
My Sankara stone has been naughty.
Sankara stone.
Sankara.
That's not working, but that's your thumbnail. If you need it.
Sankara stones. Oh,
and then I have this.
100% going on.
What is that?
On Twitter.
It's like but then it's.
Oh,
that's right.
This is $15. It's on sale. It's officially licensed. It was 15. It was 25 when I bought it. Now it's 15. I guess. No,
we literally are just gonna. Tell everyone where to buy
like this.
Where is that? It's called. It's on that menu. It's called. If you go to Octo.com. OKKTO. Yeah, is it
Alden?
Okay. Maybe it's Alden. Alden, are you making these coins?
Alden
doing Alden
coins in his basement.
Yeah, no.
Alden is holding out on us.
It's Octo like that.
OKKTO. Okay.
Okay.
You're off the hook.
You're
tonight,
safe for now, Alden.
Right. Making cool stuff.
We are going to be busting down your door soon, though.
Oh, I didn't even realize I did realize I had this. There's a guy. I guess this is his name. he has a great I don't know his name, but he has a great Facebook page and he remakes classic clapperboards from various ways, and he hand makes them and various ones. But this is a Raiders clapperboard.
Oh wow!
Signed by producer Robert Watts. So
wow,
I commissioned it, and then they had Robert Watts do a bunch of signing stuff. And but yeah, this is all hand painted, and yeah,
I love
that's
Brandon.
cool.
I don't know. This is all just like the stuff that's right in front of me.
But what I like about this is, you know, Indiana Jones obviously is a storied franchise. It's a very popular franchise, but you don't often associate Indiana Jones with merchandise. Like, I mean that.
Maybe
you really
you don't. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, they didn't have their first Black Series
Brandon
run
just
till-
proved you wrong.
Oh, I
His
know.
entire room is
No,
filled.
my life is a nightmare. That's all.
The Crystal Skull merch on eBay, by the way, is actually very affordable. If you want to start collecting, the Crystal Skull merch is not expensive right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, before it blows up again.
I'm just going over here.
Bye.
Listen, I don't think it's going to blow up, unfortunately, as it should. I think it should, but anyway.
Unfortunately.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
back.
man.
But here's this. This is, again,
Ooh.
relatively affordable, but it's an actual, like, you can see the bill is small. Do you see that? Like, the bill is super small, and it's like cloth. And I also got it too small. It doesn't fit on my head, but I feel like this would be what K.I. Kwan's head size was in
oh wow.
But it's really, but the only problem is the logo is off. It's the right year, but I don't think they have the rights to the logo, which is thinner in the movie. Anyway, I'm working on it. You can
Have you met Kay yet?
I have met Kay. I can pull up that picture too if we're really just
I love this. Show and tell.
So the opening of Everything Everywhere, the premiere, was in Austin, Texas. At
South by?
South by Southwest. And so that was when I was working for Alamo Drafthouse, a movie theater chain, which was like one of the main kind of drivers of the initial push for Everything Everywhere. And so no one had really seen it. No one had really and so everyone at work, if you go to an Alamo Drafthouse, you kind of know that they have these things called don't talk PSAs, where it's like some famous person that's like, don't you dare talk or text in this movie or I'll kill you, And so they had Ge Kwan come in, and also Michelle Yeoh, and do that at our office, next to my office. And so they texted me, the people that were running the thing, they're like, hey, Brandon, do you want to come interview Ke Kwan for the PSAs, like for all the pre-show stuff, knowing that I was a big fan? And so I went, I sped over. He was very nice, but it was like, no one, not to say like no one cares about Ke Kwan, but like at that moment, like there was no one had seen it yet. And so like I saw a preview of it, and obviously we're matching here. Something I'm very proud of. We're both wearing little vests.
Very nice.
Love a vest.
But yeah, but that's me and Ke Kwan. And one day I'll.
Another thing we could speak to though, and it's about this Indiana Jones legacy. Like it was so surreal to see him win the Oscar this past year.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
well, that was beautiful.
The fact that wasn't it Harrison that gave Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah, they did that on purpose. Like, they knew what they were doing.
They knew. So like that moment, and Spielberg being there, and we were all fortunate enough. I know Andy did not have the opportunity to go, but we were all fortunate enough to go to Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, where they kind of like debuted the first look, or I guess not look, the first poster for Dial of Destiny. So it's kind of full circle. It's been a year. It's like a year almost to the day since Celebration last year wrapped up. So like, it's so weird to like be at this point now in terms of what to expect and what's coming, because in exactly a month we're getting that movie, and it's just like time goes by so quickly when you're anticipating something, and like I can't believe this franchise is going to wrap up in the way that of at least of Indiana Jones, from what we've been told from the trailers. So like I don't know, how do we feel about that? How do we feel that we know it's coming to an end? Does that bother anybody?
I feel bad, man, but not. I mean, it's just
I don't think it's ending.
Part of it.
No,
you don't
I
think
there's
it's
gonna
ending?
be TV shows.
I don't think any IP that is that valuable can truly ever end.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem. Like, I don't think that's great. Like, I think endings are really important, and it's okay for things to end. It's okay to say goodbye to characters and actors playing characters. I think it's a real problem that they have not recast Luke Skywalker. Yeah. I think that's bad for art.
Yeah.
I think it's okay for Indy to end. If it had ended on Crystal Skull, I think that would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like,
happy ending.
Crystal Skull is a great send-off for the character. So, like, am I excited for Dial of Destiny? Absolutely. I'm going to go see it. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a great time. I love the character. I love the characters that Indy has given, like, metaphorical birth to, rocking my Nathan Drake cosplay. But, like, I hope, that we can say goodbye to Indy and let this be the end. I don't think it is, though.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't think it's the end necessarily, but I think Harrison is done. Like
yes.
I
think this is Harrison's send off.
Yes. And unfortunately, it's weird to have to come to terms with that as a fan, but also as a human being. Like, unfortunately, and we're seeing it now, at least for me, like my favorite rock musicians are dying. And like, that is like an awful thing to have to bring up, but that is the fact of life, that people pass away and people that you admire, unfortunately, won't always be there. Even if it's someone you've never met before, it's someone you can admire from afar. And like, whenever we were in Anaheim, like Harrison Ford, when he went to go talk about, John Williams, he got really teary eyed and was like getting choked up on there. And like, I think it's a last hurrah for a lot of people involved, not like, and I think it's difficult for some people to come to terms with, especially the actors that have been working on this for almost 50 years, So like, I hope they continue the legacy in some capacity. Like, we were saying earlier, we love Shia LaBeouf, he has his moments, but like, I would love for Mutt to come back in some capacity, but that's just me being a fan that has wishes. So I don't know. Brandon, what do you think?
How dare you?
Is this it? Are we done?
Here's my theory is that I don't think Ke Kwan is in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening just based on how the enthusiasm was for everyone seeing each other, blah, blah, blah. What I do think is going to happen is I do think in a year, or maybe based on the success of this, I don't know, who knows, but they announce a short round Disney Plus TV show.
Yeah.
Maybe Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in there. I don't know, but Ke Kwan is already now kind of in the ecosystem, right? He's on Loki. He's on American Born Chinese. Yeah. He's in Disney Plus. And so I feel like it's a no-brainer for everyone involved.
Okay.
That's my theory of how the Indiana Jones series
like you could even do animated. Like if you really think about it.
Have you seen that on YouTube? There's a fantastic animated fan-made thing that is
that
really
2D animation one.
Yeah, it's just like it's like almost, I think it's the theme song maybe or something. It's like an intro. And I watch that sometimes. I'm like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this for me? Okay.
Honestly, if they don't do it after this, I don't know. Like you've got to someday. Like
I also think that though, with Spielberg getting older and Lucas obviously getting older, it's interesting. Obviously, that Spielberg did not direct this, blah blah blah. But I think once Spielberg passes away, which like the last time we had a Crystal Skull, and then we have this now, like everyone's getting older. I don't think they touch this after this, at least for a while with all these people.
See, that's an interesting thing too. How do we feel as Star Wars fans or big Indiana Jones fans to have the realization that George has no affiliation? Like, right? Does he have any say-so in this?
Here's the rumor I heard. Do you want to hear a rumor?
Of course.
Please, always.
And I'm looking on IMDb just to like make sure that I'm not talking out of my ass, which I do a lot. But
I'm sure you might have been
I
consulted.
wanted to say, and you have to go look, but in the original announcement of the movie, George Lucas is not credited as an executive producer for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The rumor I heard is now he is, because he watched it and was like, sure, put my name on it. Is the rumor I heard. And I don't know if that's real. I don't know that if that's real. But
we're gonna freak. I'm obviously gonna probably be emotional seeing it.
Executive producer, Brandon. Dial of Destiny.
Yeah,
but I don't. And so like I went and looked. And I think it might have been like one of the announcement articles didn't have him listed initially, and now he is. And that's an odd thing to happen unless it was like a legal thing or something. I don't know.
Interesting. You might have been creative consultant like TFA or like that whole era of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
sequel
expecting
stuff.
that he did anything or said anything, or like it's like with Solo, we're like, oh, he directed a scene, great, love it, can't wait, or like that he made up Axe Woves, right? Like he was like, oh, what if you named this dude Bloom Bloom Plum Plum? It's like, well, George said it, like, yeah, that's awesome, it's Star Wars, man. So anyway, what do I know?
So,
based on
as far as like
by
Star
George
Wars continuing without Lucas,
Uh-huh.
I don't like that. Wasn't really hard for me to swallow.
Sure.
And for people who like made like out like it was such a big deal, like a bunch of my favorite Star Wars stuff had nothing to do with Lucas at that point already. Like,
yeah,
I loved the books and comics and a bunch of the video games, and they had like little to no Lucas involvement at all. So the idea of like, oh, we're getting more Star Wars, but like it's not directly helmed by George, I was like, I'm cool with that. The last seasons of Clone Wars weren't helmed by George, and they were fantastic. And I'm talking about before the like 2 reboots.
Yeah.
So like, and like the 2D was not helmed by George, and I loved that. So it wasn't a huge thing for me because I had already engaged with so much Star Wars that wasn't involved with George directly. So like, okay, I'm on board. Let's see it. And like, I think a lot of the Disney stuff has been great. There's some of it that I don't love. There's some of it that I'll never rewatch probably, but like, there's a lot of it that I have found to be really powerful and impactful, and I've super enjoyed. So the idea of like Indy without Spielberg and Lucas, I'm okay with that. Like, I love the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies, and Lord knows Tolkien wasn't around to consult with them. So like, I don't subscribe to like the auteur theory of like the one great man helming every project. Like even the stuff that I love from A New Hope, like there's a lot of stuff in there that's phenomenal that isn't because of George. It's because of the other people he had surrounded himself with. So
yeah, I just find it particularly interesting because Crystal Skull had George Lucas written all over it. I mean, that is like...
That is George's indie movie.
That is like... I mean, and Jerry and I talked about this years ago, but like when you watch Crystal Skull, it's like... It's so campy. It's so silly. It's like we're in a bar. We're at like a classic 50s bar fight. And like there's like, you know, a 60s... like it's just like and the whole feeling of it is just so George, and like I don't know, I hope it has the same charm for me. Like I genuinely hope the whole thing has the same charm for me. But yeah, I really enjoyed talking with you all this. Anything else you want to say about Raiders? Anything else before we close this thing out?
Melt more Nazi faces. That's what I gotta say. You know, like more of them need to get their faces melted, I would think. So. We should have had Brandon light that candle at the beginning of this.
I'm pissed,
man.
I'm super pissed.
We missed
and like,
such an opportunity.
Not to say like, oh, like invite me back or but like next time if y'all have me on, it has to. Here's the thing, it has to be something that makes sense thematically with the lighting of the candle. I'm not going to just like light the candle just for shits and giggles. Now at this point, I would have done it to talk about Raiders.
Yeah,
but again, to Schmutz is here, forgot to say light your candle. So it's like, what do you want? What can I do? So
what is
this?
Figure
it out.
What did you
figure
just
it out,
say
man?
This? What is this?
We were talking about bombastic, and we were talking about George Lucas all over it. If you think Crystal Skull has George Lucas all over it, Saucer Men from Mars, which is the unproduced fourth Indiana Jones movie that would have been directed by Frank Darabont, is crazy, and this is worth reading. Especially if you go,
never heard of.
Oh my god, no,
I've heard of it. I didn't know that the script was out there.
The script is out there, man. The script is out there. If you scroll all the way to the end, which has a wedding, just like the fourth Indiana Jones movie does, he marries a woman named Elaine. Willie Scott catches the bouquet, I believe, and Short Round drives him and Elaine to the airport.
Wow, talk about fan service.
I know, it was like he knew that more than George Lucas, man. So
the huge pirate. Love to see that. I love a big pirate.
Oh, this is wild.
Anything else to say about Raiders? I want to say that there are so many like little character actors just like going for it in this movie.
Yeah.
Like every side character, every background character is so interesting and giving it their all. every action, like we barely talked about the chase other than saying it's cool. The chase is incredible. Like what a remarkably good action scene. The bit where Indy threatens to blow up the Ark with the RPG and Balak is like, I know you because you're me and I couldn't pull the trigger and I know you won't, so go ahead, and like calls his bluff. And Indy can't do it because he loves archaeology too. Like this movie's incredible.
Yeah.
So good.
You feel that tension really well too. That scene I watched the last time, I'm like, damn, this is really like, this is a very good Western standoff scene without guns. Like without like guns at the side. You know what I mean? Like the fact that it's toted and it's nice and up there. Like I'm like, this is very Filoni with like how like, cause like I was sitting there saying, you know, and I like editing videos, so I was like, cut. Cause I hadn't watched it in years. I'm like, they're gonna cut here. And I called it every time they cut because it was so just the way it's so predictable. I don't know. It's so part of your DNA at that point too. When you watch all of these movies, you're just like, you can almost see what's coming. Obviously, I mean that's most movies you're in love with. But like, I don't know, just the feeling of that whole scene's amazing. I forgot about how good that scene was.
I'm gonna shout out. I think it was my birthday in like 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I had some friends who were like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And they cosplay Jones and Lara Croft.
Yeah.
And this was when I was like big on the Uncharted cosplay scene. And I was like, I want to do a shoot with the two of you.
Ooh.
And let's just run around and take like fun adventure shots. And I tweeted it when I shared the link to this the other day, a couple pictures from it.
Yeah.
But Captain Seamus and Transformation Sequence, I don't think they really cosplay anymore, but like we had so much fun running around as Nathan Drake, Lara Croft, and Indiana Jones, and it was a great birthday present. And like I like Indy is so historic. Like Indy did so much for the action genre, and I think like that's important to recognize because like so many other phenomenal characters and games like and movies we just wouldn't have without this series, which is really cool to think about.
I completely agree, Andy.
Yeah.
I was going to bring this up too because you brought up character actors. Alfred Molina, another one of the ones that end up being in. Oh, I can't pull it up.
One that I didn't realize was in this movie until like 10 years ago. I think it was after I started working in a movie theater. Until I started working in a movie theater and like I'd seen Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah.
I was
Doc Ock is in this. He gets covered in the spiders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one with the spear through his head.
Yeah, he gets spikes through him. He's the first gory moment.
Throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Spielberg knew what was up. Brandon, any last words you want to say before we close up the show?
Any last words I want to say before we close up the show? Do you recognize this man? Ready? Are you ready? I'm going to send it to you, and then you're going to send it to the world.
Here we go.
I don't know. No, I'm worried. Wait, okay. Send this to the world. Do you know who this man is? I'm sure you know this. This is not a trick question, but we're talking about character actors. We're talking about moments, and I love this man.
I'm very interested because he has one of my favorite lines in the whole movie.
He also probably has one of your favorite lines in another one of your favorite movies. But show the world. Eaton. Major Eaton, played by Bill Hootkins, who also played a certain Porkins in the original 1977 Star Wars.
I did not realize that. No way.
These are all just fun.
I like these little facts. I had no idea Porkins was in Indiana Jones.
If you cannot love Raiders of the Lost Ark even more, Porkins is in Indiana Jones.
I love when Indy is like, didn't you guys go to Sunday school? And him and his partner are like,
that is a great moment. Thank you for that, Brandon.
The student with the I love you on her eyelids. Everything in this movie rules.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened to me yet.
This is the best introduction to like that you could ever do for this character, right?
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And also want to burn a candle. Just call me, man.
Light one up, man.
Jerry,
Light it up.
anything you want to close it before we close it this wonderful 2 hours of experience?
Just I wanted to be Indiana Jones when I was a kid for like so long. Like I like Indy has always been like that character. I always thought like he was, you know, like he's really cool, you know.
Yeah.
He's that, you know, again, kind of a dirt bag, but at the same time like a lovable kind of like I still put my pants on two legs at like one leg at a time, not two legs at a time.
He's charming. He's incredibly human, but he's charming, and he is a dirtbag.
Right. But he also just like, I like, you know, my favorite, I'm so excited to get to Crystal Skull because my favorite action sequence is in Area 51.
Yes, I agree.
Like that opening in Area 51, like the whole, like, you don't know him because you've watched up to this point all the crazy shit this guy's done. And just like, I love this character. I'm so glad we're talking about Indy, and Raiders is forever. I say Raiders is the best of the Indy films.
Yeah.
I think it is the best for sure. It's also a perfect movie.
It's my third favorite, and that's so funny because Temple of Doom's my fourth. My favorite is Crystal, but then it's Last Crusade because of the dynamic of, you know, Indy and his dad.
Crystal might be my second favorite.
Yeah.
So. Me and Scotty are weird.
I love Crystal Skull. No,
we're very fond of Crystal Skull.
This movie really does mean a lot to me. This is one of those ones that, like, this movie is kind of like this sounds weird. This movie is like the gateway into what an adventure story can be. And like, I feel like if you were to show a kid this movie, maybe, and like y'all said, y'all had parents that were like, you can't watch this. Like, I'm totally like, regardless of how gory it is, when my kid hits like 9 or 10, like, this is what we're gonna watch in the 10th birthday.
I'm already contemplating when I can show Ellie.
Yeah, I know.
For sure. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Because it's weird because I think it's almost dated now. Not to say it doesn't look good. It still looks great. Like a lot of the stuff looks amazing. But like you could almost be like, hey, you know, this is just a movie, kid. Like I get, you know, there's some intense moments.
It looks so good because they were actually lighting like motherfuckers on fire.
Yeah,
we're actually lighting those candles on fire. They're thinking ahead.
The end of the ghost doesn't look so good. But like the bar scene, the guy who's like swinging punches at Indy with his arm on fire, it looks so good because that guy's arm is on fire. Like,
I agree.
I could have lit an arm on
fire. Looks great because they were dragging Harrison Ford behind a freaking truck. Like,
yeah. I completely get it. I agree, man. I'm stoked for the rest of these weeks coming up to talk about this movie, and I can't thank you both enough, Andy and Brandon, for taking time out of your evenings to come and hang out with us and kick off this entire discussion. Let's get some plugs in real quick. I'll let Andy.
I gotta say one more thing before plugs. I'm sorry,
Andy,
I know we're running late.
For
anyone that says Crystal Skull is like not accurate or Dial of Destiny is not accurate because Harrison Ford is too old to be doing these like Indiana Jones scenes now, and Indy's too old for it. He should be in the old folks home. Harrison Ford has walked away from like 5 plane crashes between Crystal Skull.
That man crashes his World War II era plane.
They got the perfect actor to play Indiana Jones because if Harrison Ford's walking away from all these plane crashes, Harrison Ford can still get dragged by a truck. As far as I'm concerned,
I completely agree.
I can picture him jumping from cart to cart. It makes sense. It makes sense.
That
it's
old
Harrison
man
Ford.
is indestructible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely
he truly
agree.
is. Truly
Boy,
is.
Andy, let's get your shows plugged. We were actually guest on one recently. So
yeah. I think that's if that hasn't come out already, it's going to be dropping really soon. So I'm at a One Hat Town on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to see like my cosplay stuff, my Instagram is all my cosplay stuff. And then I do a show called Ending Pending that Jerry and Scotty just guested on. We talk about one-season TV shows, and they came on to talk about Firefly with us. So go check that out. And I do a bunch of other podcasts, which if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see I do too many podcasts. It's a problem.
Well, you're good at it, and that's why you do
soon
so
to
many.
be more. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Brandon, what we got coming to the pipeline? If you say Rick McCallum, I'm gonna kill you.
No.
Don't you talk about burning that goddamn candle? Not one more time. No,
I'm gonna be doing a candle burning after I hang up on this call. That one of the Vader pyre, and it just kind of lights and Luke that walks on the side. That's a good idea. Make that. No, nothing crazy for me. Some Talking Bay episodes coming up soon, which I'm excited about. Some insider articles coming up soon. I just got one, the oral history of the Twi'leks. And I interviewed a bunch of people, including David Pesquesi, who plays the major demo in Book of Boba Fett, and also was it was very fun.
He's fantastic.
And then some StarWars.com pieces have hit. I interviewed a couple of the directors of the Visions shorts for that, which is very cool. And then I interviewed Ben for StarWars.com. And
did you really?
And Randy Tom. I did a dual interview with them. It was an hour.
Was it
long.
in person?
No, it was through Zoom.
Yeah.
But it was really cool.
God,
it was really cool. And then I'll show you one more thing, and then my final plug.
I know you had your John Knowles one, right?
Yeah, I have two John Knowles. Which just came out. Part 1 and part 2, which now make it kind of like the longest John Knoll interview ever, which is crazy. And then I just got this in the mail yesterday. My latest eBay find. I'm going to plug this. I think now that I have one, Scotty, it's your turn to have one.
Oh no!
And Jerry, and Naboo XXL, the Fighting Gungans, right? But this is
my god!
This is a 1999 crew sweatshirt for ILM. And then here's the ILM tag. But it's industrial light visual mind tricks. So, but very nice. Has an embroidered hood. The internet.
Well, I know, but was it how much? If you don't mind me asking, how much was it? How much?
Let me tell you, it was $25 plus $10 shipping. Yep, and it's my size. Crazy. What a crazy
I'm about
time.
to go.
No, I'm telling you, I put the save search, make the save search, but there's only one that exists. If you type that in on Google, it's in Gus Jenkins' collection. So like they exist, obviously. But it was a crazy thing. So good luck. But I thought that you'd get out of that for sure. Yeah.
Happy hunting.
The only ones there's like two on my dream list. My main one is the Celebration 1 exclusive. That was like the pod racing jacket. You know what I'm talking about? I know Dan is it Dan Madsen? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He has one, and he showed it one time when he was on Around the Galaxy. I was like, oh my
nice.
god, I want that so bad. But no, thank you, Brandon. I'm glad you can both show up. Bombadcast, if we could plug anything real quick, I know we've got more of these on the line. We're working out next week's episode. If I'm not mistaken, we're gonna have on two people from the LGBTQ plus community to talk about Temple of Doom, and it's my least favorite Indiana Jones, but I'm so excited to talk about it. And we can actually say this: we've been confirmed sizzling. We have Alex and Molly from Star Wars Explained to come and talk about Crystal Skull. So that one's been locked and loaded, and that is we actually convinced Alex 4 years ago to rewatch Crystal Skull after not seeing it for a long time.
After our episode.
And it was I don't know, it's funny. We have a long legacy with that. But look, it's been a fantastic stream. Thank everyone for joining. I know it was a pre-record, so everyone watching it live, thank you also for joining. We really appreciate all of your support and all your love. And I don't know. We need to get a good Stay Bombad. Let's see.
Can I say a final thing for Pride Month?
Yeah.
Please.
Thank you for having me on to kick off Pride Month. And my fellow queers out there, things are kind of rough right now, but pick up a brick. That's the history of Pride. And no matter how hard they come for us, we always learn to dance in the sadness, and we're resilient as hell. So pick up a brick, and community care. We protect us. Cops don't protect us. Look out for each other, and don't let them get you down.
Beautifully said. You know
hell
what?
yeah. Allies pick up bricks too, for fuck's sake.
That's right.
Pick up bricks.
Please. We could use y'all. It's spicy out here. We could use some friends.
Damn right. All of you out there, go pick up. Everyone, go get a nice healthy stack of bricks from Danzig's front yard.
We don't need Target Pride Collection. Just go to your local construction site and pick up a brick, and that's the Pride Collection.
Listen, there's construction going on at my work right now. It'll be real easy.
We are in a Target-rich environment for haters and bigots.
That's right.
So we don't need Target's Pride collection. We have plenty of Targets.
This is a good time to mention that
for bricks, not for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good time to mention that if you found your way onto this channel and you are, he said bigot, goodbye. We don't want you here. You get no bricks. No bricks for you.
No bricks for you.
Sorry.
We get
Actually,
the
not
bricks.
sorry. Yeah.
But one thing
we
you
just
do
talked
get-
about punching Nazis, so you can go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about throwing bricks at bigots.
Yeah.
Before we close out, one thing you do get is this last shot of powder. And I'm about to go do a lot of research on what the hell this shit is.
Where's the powder
But-
candle? That's what I want to know.
Hey, you send it to me, I burn it, baby. I love burning candles.
We're gonna have you back on to talk about powder. Yeah.
Powder.
Listen, next time. Here's the thing. I like coming on the podcast, but now I need a payment. The payment is you mailing me a goddamn candle for the next time.
I do love that you're basically like the real life nerd Indiana Jones, though. You're just like whipping out these artifacts of like, oh yeah, I got this jacket and I got this sign
Sure.
and I got this book.
That's
like, I love it,
true.
dude. You're
And
awesome.
if me and Indiana Jones have anything in common, it's that. What is it, Jerry? We love to burn candles.
You love to burn candles. Yeah, that's the thing. Sorry, I was
No,
not
you missed it.
expecting a pop quiz.
No,
Oh
it's a
God.
called response. It's
He's a
very
teacher.
it's
God.
one of the things that India is known best for, and I can't believe that y'all.
We were raised
we failed.
evangelical
We
though,
failed.
and like the Catholics
Yes,
are really
the
the ones that
Catholics,
love
we
the
love
I was gonna
burning
say
candles,
amen for
baby.
a second when you
Yeah.
said
No, we
that.
love
And y'all
it.
love
Give
your
me a
candles,
statue.
yeah.
I'll burn a candle in front of it, baby. Let's do it.
Oh man, Jerry, I
Yes,
have to
sir.
ask you to say something. Say the line. Say a line to me. You're a teacher. Say that line to me.
You're a teacher?
Part time. All right, Andy, give us a good stay bomb and we'll close it out.
Stay Bombad.
Woo! Pick up a brick.
Did you say impossible? Pasquale? Only kidding, Jackie. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share. What is it?
Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top,
And a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer.
If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
come on, change. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Time for us to take a break, but we wouldn't dream of being gone for long. See you in a little bit.